off the stream. Let's start off the stream. Yeah, boy. Time to get busy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 101. And you're here with us, guys. We're going to do our seasonal preview tonight. So we got a lot to get through, a lot of opinions, and I want to hear yours as well. So shout out to everybody out there. What is going on, people? Introduce the panel for tonight. We've got Tony. Tony, what's going on, man? You sporting the goods, my friend. Sporting
Yes, sir.
the goods.
Yes, sir. Okay, so good to be here, guys. Glad to see you all again. As you know, I've been on the most amazing trip, which incorporated me being at the Sophie Stadium in LA recently to see Arsenal beat Barcelona. Then I got a nice surprise on Sunday where I was surprised with a ticket to see the Community Shield. I was almost going to call it the Charity Shield, its old name. So yeah, I've had a very busy 10 days, so to speak. And yeah, just good to be back amongst you guys. I did pop in briefly from the fight, the Community Shield, but yeah, good to be here.
Excellent. And guys, for the first time, you're not going to believe this, I've had the channel up for 4 years, everybody. And I'm going to give you a nice little tidbit and surprise here. When I originally was going to start this channel, I was going to start it with my son, Leonce, who you guys know as KBZ. He's got another YouTube channel. He's probably got about 15,000 subscribers on there. He does a lot of Marvel Conquest content. And I was going to start up the 101 channel with Spitfire Jay Harwood, as you guys know, and Leonce, my son. So that was what we originally going to do. But Jay got busy. My son started, his channel was blowing up and he didn't have the time. So I ended up doing 101 solo by myself. So it's really weird how these things work out. But yeah, let me introduce to you guys Beezy, man, for the first time. Yes, my son's in the house. What's going on, bro?
What is good, everyone, man? Nice to be here. It's good time, man. Like you said, it's long overdue, Dad, man. We've been trying to organize this for so long. And to be fair, even this one, we didn't really organize. It was more like we were having a long conversation about Arsenal and the progress. And Dad was just like, you know what? I'm gonna write your name down for the show next week, and it's just happened. Like, so yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, and hopefully this is the first of many, man. So you know, let's get it going, man.
Excellent, and also shout out your channel as well, Beezy. Shout out.
Oh yeah, it's BZ MCOC, man. So if any of you guys are into Marvel, then yeah, go and check that out.
Brilliant. Yeah, Vincey, what's going on, Vincey? Part of the back five. Musketeers of Arsenal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, real blessing on Monday, man. That's good banter, good talking, deep vibes. So yeah, back again for the original. Love it, man. Love it.
Excellent. And welcome back to Gary as well. Then we're gonna have to figure out, you know what? Let's get Gary a nickname for the channel, man. Gary's Stone Cold Steve Austin business we're running with Gary, man. What's going on? Stone Cold Gary, man. What's going on?
Tell it as it is. That's the only way to tell it.
Just call him coach.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Excellent.
I'm good.
And welcome to Ebony.
You can call me the coach. Yes, that's fine. I'll take
coach. That. All right, the coach. Ebony, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm all good. Still Ramsdale's fiance. Not his baby mother, his fiance.
Not married to Raya yet, no?
Yeah, no.
You're not cheating with Raya yet, no?
Not yet.
Excellent.
But no, I'm happy that we won on Sunday. Saw some of the highlights because I was at work and the connections weren't great, you know, apart from Brazilian nakedness. But yeah, I'm glad we won, and I know people call the Community Shield as a nothing competition, but it's the prelude of what we can do this season.
Yeah, because I mean, as I said in my video yesterday, it weren't even the result. It was about the performance yesterday. So that's what's got everybody excited. And last we're going to mention, we've also we've also got Danny coming in as well, guys. So we haven't seen Nabil and Danny for a bit. So welcome to the show to Nabil. How you doing, Nabil? We can't hear you at the moment. Right, we still you're on mute. You're on mute, bro.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, he was on mute. You're not on mute anymore. I can hear one of you guys' TV in the background though.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Take that off.
Can I just say as well, massive shout out to Vincey, because Vincey, you saved me from being on the channel for the first time without no Arsenal share. You know, they wouldn't let me live that down. You know, oh my god.
No worries, man. No worries.
Yeah, Nabil, how you doing? Have you been able to get the technical?
Vincey's the good guy.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. So guys, listen. Big
Dark
game
Horse?
the other day with the Charity Shield. Nabil, see if you can fix your sound difficulties there, and then we can bring you in. You're definitely off mute at the moment. You've never really had any problems, to be honest with you, in terms of audio. So hopefully you'll get that sorted out. So guys, overall, what was your thoughts about the game? 1-1 draw and the win against Man City over the weekend. I know some of you guys haven't had a chance to have your say on it, but let me get your thoughts overall. Beasley, let's start with you because Tony's screen's gone black.
I mean, to be honest, I was quite happy with defensively how we were. Like defensively, I thought we were very solid. Even the kind of front line before the defenders, you know, the seeing Rice and Partey kind of holding it down in front of the centre backs. We've never really had like massive, consistent support there in front of that front line defense. And I felt like, you know, playing against City, whatever other team better to obviously test it against, and seeing that, I was like, yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. I kind of feel like if we were on point with attacking, because we had a few chances, and I feel like we definitely had better chances than City did. And I feel like if we took our chances, like from what I saw, we're a completely different team than, you know, kind of like what we have been in the past. And I feel a lot confident, even maybe the possibility of losing one or two key players in the season coming up, touch wood. But I feel like with the squad depth that we got now, I feel like we're going to cause big problems this season, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, the bottom line is that game showed us so many different things in terms of how we're changing the inverted left-back role with Timber more defensively solid, the double pivot, which we haven't seen in a long while. We haven't seen a double pivot probably since we were 3-4-3 when we won the FA Cup. And there's just so much changes in terms of the balance up front. Having a big 6'3" target man, we haven't seen that since Giroud. So it was a very different looking Arsenal game in terms of shape. Tony, what was your thoughts on the 1-1 win, Community Shield win against City?
Yeah, I mean, I was just pleased that it was a tight game. It just shows there's improvement that's been made. We want to be able to show that we can compete against Man City, because clearly the fact that we conceded 3 goals in each of the 2 games we played them last season was not comforting at all. And therefore, we needed to show something in terms of our ability to be able to compete with that one team. I'm not going to read too much into the Community Shield. The reason is, you know, we saw different iterations of both teams. We saw Man City playing Haaland without De Bruyne, and then we saw De Bruyne without Haaland. We obviously are trying to read into what their setup's going to look like with a deep Phil Foden. Options on the right look far different now that they don't have Mahrez. But Bernardo Silva is going to be Bernardo Silva. Gundogan, another player that, you know, you kind of don't know what the overall effect of him being out of the team is going to be.
He's a big player, Tony.
Yeah. But you expect a team with the depth of Man City, the experience of Man City, to do whatever is necessary to ensure that doesn't have too much of an impact on them going forward. So I still expect them to be the behemoth that they were last season and to be everybody's target in terms of, well, what do we need to beat to win the league? I still expect them to be the pinnacle. I'm hoping that what we showed on Sunday is sufficient to make us be confident to be able to be there and thereabouts again this season.
Yeah, and I think that's the message coming from what we've heard on BT Sports, Sky, Talk Sport. The feeling on that game was those were the best two teams in the league because of that display. Teams just woke up and went, wow, it was a boxing match. It was I'm going to counter you, you're going to counter me. And that's part of what I was talking about in my video yesterday. The battle in the midfield in terms of the press, the anti-press was just so combative. And it was that mind game that one team was on top of the other. Then they changed the tactics and switched it. And then the other one countered. And teams are looking at that thinking, guys, we're going to have our work cut out with us with both of these teams. Arsenal, for me, slightly got stronger. City, I don't see them getting... I don't think they've improved, which doesn't say much because they were that much better than everyone else in the first place. But yeah, thanks for that, Tony. Vincey, what was your thoughts?
Well, basically, I just felt that we had a little settled to score based on the last two performances in the league, and we turned up. There's a new system in place, and structurally and defensively, we had a good spine, and that's good for all us fans to see, because at times we get run ragged by Man City. And yeah, De Bruyne came on late second half. He would have made a difference, but again, looking at Saliba and the way how he handled Haaland and Gabriel as well, Ben White as well. You look at those plays and you think, okay, they put some of those omens of last season behind them. But for me, the one player that I wanted to see perform well is Timber, because just looking at his video reel, the guy was sick. And I was, for me, I love Saliba, I love Martinelli, but for the ball playing ability of what Timber has, he can make a huge difference to the way how Arsenal, when we're under pressure, composing the play and linking up with the attackers. And I know how a lot of fans were raving over Zinchenko last season. See Timber this year? I just pray that brother stays fit, because trust me, he will be twisting up man when he gets confident, bare confidence in his game. The guy's got ridiculous ability. So I'm excited, man. Really excited.
Hey, listen, when Zinchenko comes to work for Arsenal, he's got his suit, his tie, his suitcase. He's walking through the door, say, "Yeah, let's get this done, boys." but with Timber, bro, he's an NFL linebacker. This guy's a strong safety. He don't care about no lights, no flashes, no fame. Yeah. He just wants the contact, man. He just wants to get the contact. He wants to hit somebody. And that's what I love about his game. He can
play anywhere, and it's the same thing. So I think that's just going to be beautiful, the way how Arteta is going to infuse him into the team. He's not going to play every game, but when he does, I just pray he stays fit, because, he's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and Gary, what's your thoughts overall? Actually, Gary, before I come to you, let me shout out to everybody. 18's been waiting patiently, saying, "Rah, that's Apollo's son, jeez." Emerson says, "Good evening, Apollo and guests." Tony's at the new away shirt. It should be the new away shirt. And then he says, "Is it for next year?" As I'm looking for it for other sources, I just ordered mine yesterday. Cam saying, "Yo, people, what's going on, Cam? Good to see you on Cannon Fodder the other day as well." 18 saying, "BZ sounds knowledgeable." Yeah, listen, bro, me and my son talk Arsenal every week, We talk Arsenal on the phone every week. We do. Alfie saying, "Yes, lads." What's going on, Alfie? Hope everything is well and okay with you, man. Gary, what's up, man? What's your thoughts on the game? I know we were talking about it. You was on the stream with us. Now you've had a couple of days to think about it. How's it bedded in?
Yeah, so I mean, personally, from my point of view, I mean, after watching the game and then obviously we won, and then you sit and you think about what you saw. And like many other Arsenal fans, you before the game started, you're hoping that it's not going to be a case of the same old, where Arsenal have a lot of possession, a lot of chances, don't take any, and then City go bang, 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 and all of a sudden we're 3-0 down, and you're thinking, how the hell did that happen? So the first 15 minutes was a little bit shaky, and then you start to think, well, no, this is going to be exactly the same thing. But then Arsenal all of a sudden thought, you know what, we're gonna show you. And I think there's a little change in formation. Yeah, we went with the double pivot, and then all of a sudden it started to work, and you could see how we were so defensively solid. The back four, Partey, Rice, yeah, the midfield three dropped back. Havertz was putting in a shift, tackling back, winning balls, and it all started to click after the first 15 minutes. And for me, that was the most refreshing thing to see. That Arteta has had a long think about things in the summer, and he's realised that when you go to play City, you got to do what them lot down the road do. Be as boring as hell. Pack the midfield, fill the gaps, hit them on the break, yeah, or let our football hit them on the break, because you don't necessarily have to just knock the long ball and get someone to chase it, because we can play football. So we can play out, we can beat the press, and then we've got the pace with Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard on the break to hurt teams. So that for me was the best thing that I saw on Sunday. Forget the result. That was the best thing I saw, which was Arteta having that change in formation to go with a double pivot, Rice and Partey. That's going to be a strong two this year, because 100%. Between them, they've got everything. They can get forward, they can tackle, they can move the ball, especially Partey. I mean, some of them balls he put in, there was 2 or 3 times when he's just turned and pinged that little ball over the top for Saka, and you think, wow, this guy can do it all. Yeah. And where he done it on his own last year, he doesn't have to do it on his own now, because Declan Rice is there and he can help do some of the donkey work. But the funniest thing was when the guy, who was it 18 in the comments, said, oh, Rice is just another Shaka. And as he said it, Rice turned into Usain Bolt, put in a little sprint and sprinted past Bernardo Silva like Bernardo Silva was running in treacle. And I said, yeah.
Yeah, so that was so good, that mash up Gary stream.
In the whole stream.
Oh, right, Gary's back. Yeah, good. Yeah, Gary, listen, man. I put that in my video yesterday when I uploaded it because I had to talk about it. I don't think I've seen anybody do that since Gilberto Silva. I mean, even Vieira. You can talk about Vieira. Either way, that's a 20-year thing, man. Rice, boy, just waiting for him to settle in now, man. Yeah. Ebony, before we come to you, let's go to Nabil, introduce ourselves to Nabil, because I think he's got his audio working now. Nabil, how you doing?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro. Loud and clear. Oh, by the way, guys, Nabil did go to school with my son's mum. So, yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I got 2 laptops in here, and both of them ain't having it. I'm on my phone again. And I spend every time I've come on here, I'm always on my laptop, and none of them want to. They're just not having it, man. I'm on my phone, so yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, go on.
That's all right, man. So first of all, want to know what your thoughts are on the win against Manchester City on Sunday. It'd be really good to hear your insight.
I ain't gonna give you a breakdown like you lot have, because I can barely remember it. All I do know is that there was nothing friendly about it. I've heard people say, "Well, you can't really gauge this or that." I think you absolutely can. I think we were, man for man, we went toe to toe with them. We were as good as them. To be fair, Phil Foden came off the bench and he started doing his bits. Running through the middle. He was doing a lot of stuff. He really showed up. And I think when Timber came off, we was a little bit disjointed. I'm not a big fan of Kieran Tierney. I like him. I like his character. I like his attitude. But technically, I don't think he's got what it takes for us and the way we play. You know, I like that inverted fullback that we play, and I don't fancy him down in the final third either, to be honest with you. So yeah, that was a disappointment we got that goal. But I mean, yeah, and to win on penalties as well. We got the goal. It looked like it was dead and buried, but no, we got the goal. And I'm looking forward to the game in the league, because if that was a league game, I think it would have gone the same way. Yeah, sure. Everybody's a little bit rusty, bit nervy. First game out of Wembley, massive crowd. So I know that's going to have an effect, but I just think it's a good showing. I like what I saw of Havertz. Havertz was doing stuff that I didn't really know he could do. He really does play like a centre forward. Yeah, just need to get the finishing sorted out. But I was pleased with it. It's a good result. It's a brilliant way to start the season. It's the marker, and that's what I like about the Community Shield. You can lay down the marker.
Excellent. Ebony, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I saw a lot of the highlights because I was going to get Brazilian butt feedings, which really annoy me. But having seen some of the breakdown,
hold on, Ebony, let me tell my son what that means. So, Leos, the reason why people say bring up Brazilian butts is because when we try to find a stream for a game on a website, yeah, you get all the pop-ups coming up. So you get all them Brazilian sites showing you all these girls on there and everything. So that's a little running joke here on 101. So yeah, go on, Ebony. I just wanted to know, because you're probably thinking,
yeah,
what does that mean?
Yeah, I heard earlier. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, indeed, it is a marker, as I said earlier. It's a prelude for the Premiership, and I think that, you know, seeing Man City play the whole of last season, them having to come from behind to actually take it, you know, we fell by the wayside. But Sunday, it just went to show that, you know, we have got the team to play them toe by toe. You know, I know people thought we were going to lose, and if I'm honest, I thought we were going to lose as well. But I just think when you have Timber, as I said, Timber needs to be fit for the whole season, however many games he plays. I personally don't expect him to play every single game, but what would make a great pairing is, you know, if Timber and Saliba were in the back line. I mean, when you look at Saliba, the fact that he had Haaland, he kept Haaland quiet, as far as I'm concerned. So, and I think Timber is in line to do that as well. The addition of Rice and with Partey, you know, Rice does what Xhaka couldn't do, and that's basically play the ball forward. He could, you know, Xhaka can't run, whereas Rice can. So it's a good result. It is a marker for the season, although some people do say that the Community Shield is a nothing competition. But, you know, at the end of the day, we have shown, yes, it was on penalties, but we have shown that we can beat them. And I think that, you know, I know this is a bit early, but when it comes to us playing them at home in the first 10 games, we can beat them.
So, guys, overall, let me just, before, obviously, we're going to get into our first of the season, and we're going to get into where do you think we're going to finish and who do you think the top scorer is going to be. But I just want to finish with these guys in the chat room to make them feel like we're not leaving them out, guys. We see you. We love you like cooked food. So, Philip, what's going on? Big shout out to you. Philip says, greetings to people 101. Emerson saying Arsenal was okay in defense, midfield, we also okay. It's just Havertz. We need to know what his best position is and to get the best out of him. The manager knows. Yeah, the manager knows why he brought him into the team. He was a number 8 before Chelsea bought him. He was a number 9 for Chelsea. He can just do a lot of things and help us in a lot of different areas. And so I think people are honestly being a bit too hard on him, because if I look at our attacking players, if I look at 80% of them, they can play everywhere. If I look at where Nelson can play, if I look at where Jesus can play, if I look at where Trossard can play, Martinelli as well is a hybrid striker. Nketiah plays on the left as well as up front. If I look at Fabio Vieira as well, even Smith Rowe is a 8 and then a 10. So why are we giving Havertz such a hard time about wanting to know his position? We don't need to know. All we need to know is that Arteta's going to put him in the right place at the right time to facilitate Arsenal's success. And let's just let the guy do what he's doing and he'll figure it out. He's got it right with most of those players so far. So we just have to trust in the process. There's no process right now. Process done. We're in the Champions League. So it's right now going for a title. So there's no process anymore. But I just think that people should just let Havertz organically find his feet, because we could all agree number 9 striker weren't his thing last year. But then again, you have to look at that team that he was playing in as well. He won the Champions League for their Chelsea in that year when they had no striker. That was him. That was his job. And he took them all the way. Yeah. So I think personally, Arsenal, the fan base, have been slightly harsh on him. Cam says, how are Arsenal spending so much money? Quite easy for me to answer that. I'll take a couple of minutes to do that. It's their spending power. It's been boosted by various different ways. Mainly, and at the beginning, it's because Arsenal are really being rewarded for the work that Edu and Arteta did by cutting the wage bill by 62 million. So that takes a lot off in terms of our operating costs and what we're doing. The second thing is, after getting their wages under control, you guys probably heard each team had a rebate for COVID with FFP, and Arsenal 2 months ago got a figure of 168 million taken off their FFP number, which means they could pretty much go crazy with their spend. That being said, we know they haven't accumulated a lot of sales coming in. You wouldn't believe it. We've earned this summer, including Matt Turner, 39 million, which is the cost of timber. That's the most we've ever made since 2018, 19. So it's the most money we've ever made. There's not a lot, but it's the most we've ever made since selling Iwobi and Oxlade-Chamberlain. But overall, guys, you got to think of it this way now. Yes, we are in the red because we spent a lot of money, £250 million that we've spent. But because of the new deals, we've got 50 million coming in from the Emirates. We get 60 million now with the new Adidas deal. That's 110 million. Sky pays 94 million basic, and then it can go up to about 120 million in TV revenues. But we smashed that last season. Last season, Arsenal made 179 million from TV revenues, which is literally the highest, along with City. So just our TV revenues and the new deals have taken our earnings up to 300 million. And then on top of that, you got to think about the gates money. Now, for those of you like myself, who's a season ticket holder, that's going to be an increase of about 10 to 15 million. Why? Because season ticket holders got 26 games with their pass. Now you only get 22, because they've taken 4 games off for the FA Cup. So basically the price has stayed the same. So yes, there's been an increase. You're paying the same amount of money now, but you're seeing less games. That's what the fans wanted, rather than a wholesale increase. But it does mean now when they have the FA Cup games, that's going to be new input of fresh revenue for the team. So the team, guys, are extremely cash rich right now in regards to their earnings year on year. So that's the reason why they can spend all that money, bro. But moving on to that, guys, let's now talk about the reason why we're here. Now, what's going to put up, you guys know I've got a chart. Oh, look, my man getting vexed now because I didn't bring up his thing. So, all right, let me go to 18. 18 says, I decided to get... This guy's killing me. He said, I decided to become a goalkeeper this season because Ebony only likes goalies. Oh, man. So listen, Beezy. So this guy's been running Ebony down for years, right? And Ebony's got a tendency to like goalkeepers. She liked Martinez. She loved Ramsdale. So now man wants to be a goalkeeper to try and get... it ain't going to happen, man. Is also asking, why is the extra time minute so much now? Well, what had happened is the rules have always been in place. So when you score a goal, you add on 30 seconds. And when you make a sub, it's 1 minute added on. Those rules have always been in place. They've just never been put in practice. We saw in the World Cup in Qatar, the referees were strict on that and they followed it by the book. So all these guys are doing now is just getting their act together. The FA has been pretty dominant on cracking down on having a proper extra time system rather than a referee saying 2 or 3 minutes. In the real world and by the books, there should never, ever be any 2 or 3 minutes. Because if a team makes 3 or 4 subs that's already 4 minutes there, and you're not even talking about the goals. Does that make sense? So there's no way. It just goes to show how crooked these refs have been in the past, because they just haven't been following the rules. Yeah. Alfie's saying doing the World Cup style added on types because of average ball play. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what we was talking about. Cam is already throwing in their figures. See, he's saying Arsenal's going to win the league. City second, United third, Liverpool fourth, then Newcastle, then Spurs. Bro, I don't even think Spurs is going to get top 8. Greg is saying City's going to win the league, then Arsenal, then Liverpool, then Chelsea, then Toon. He ain't even talking about Spurs. So guys, listen, that's where we are. I'm going to keep the screen like this for a moment now, because there's too much people for me to squeeze in the big sheet. Let me see what it looks like when I do it. Let's have a look here. Let's just see what it looks like when I put it in. We're all going to get squashed up now to the side. Okay, so there we go. So that's what the sheet looks like. I'm not going to keep it there because I'm going to want everybody's kind of real analysis on what the games are. But we've already got some figures that have been put down. Neomis, you can see Neomis is saying we're going to win every game except for United. We're going to draw United at home. I don't believe we've been beating United at home for the last few years, man. How are you going to put a draw in there?
Yeah, but they don't make that game easy, man. United
it's always a tough game, but we seem to come through. We just lose at Old Trafford. So, I don't think Old Trafford we're going to get a result, but yeah, man's thinking we ain't going to get nothing on that game. Everton away, he's going for the win. And boy, that's a game we can't win. He's gone for a Spurs win home, Bournemouth win away. He's gone for a loss against City at home, draw against Chelsea and Sheffield United. So he's gone for 23 points, which is the lowest, along with Lewis. Lewis also has pretty much followed him result for result. So I haven't heard from those guys what our final league position are or how they've rated the transfer window. But Gary, shall we start with you, Gary? Gary, what?
Yes,
if we can go down, then talk to me about your choices here.
Right. So normally I'm a little bit pragmatic. Like, when you come to these games, like Man United at home and Chelsea away and City at home. But after seeing the Charity Shield on Sunday, or the Community Shield, whatever you want to call it, and Arteta's newfound system and his willingness to change his ways, I'm kind of super confident and super buoyant about the upcoming season. So we'll start with Nottingham Forest. Yes, we may be facing Matt Turner, but I don't think he was much of a goalkeeper anyway, to be honest. I was very nervous about him in the few games that he did play for us, so I don't think he's going to stand in our way.
So you put your mop on it now, so he's going to have a blinder when we play him. You watch.
Well, that's right. Listen, when it comes to betting, no one's as unlucky as me. That's why I don't bet anymore. So I'm going to go. Obviously, we're going to start with a resounding victory against Forest. 3 points all the way. Then we're going to go to Palace, and we're going to teach Roy Hodgson how to retire properly. I think we'll be too strong for Palace. I don't think they've signed anyone. They've lost Zaha. So I think he was kind of like their main threat. So I can't see anything other than 3 points.
Yep. To who? Who they lost?
To Arsenal. 3 points to Arsenal, of course.
No. Who they Crystal Palace lost Zaha to? Like, where's he gone?
Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, yeah.
Yeah, Galatasaray he went to.
Fair enough.
That's madness, isn't it?
So,
Trump's not going to be happy about that.
And then we go to Fulham away. So Fulham will be a tough game because of that. Marco Silva's got them playing, but I can't see how they can really stop us from gaining 3 points. I think we're going to be too strong for these little teams. It's not the little teams that we slip up against. It's the big teams. It's the Uniteds, the Cities, the Chelseas. That's where we tend to drop our points. So Fulham is a guaranteed 3 points.
Excellent. Yeah.
So then we come to our first real test of the season against United. We know from the little friendly we played against them that they're going to be ultra physical, especially the so-called Butcher of Manchester. Mr. 4'5" Martinez. So we know what we're going to get, but we can stand up to that, you know, as we did in the little friendly. But this time it's going to have some meaning on it. So we know what's coming, and I'm going to say that is going to be a draw.
Ooh.
Then we go Everton away.
Which we never win.
Massive bogey ground for us. But Everton are in a terrible state. I don't think they've signed one player. Not that I've read or seen. I don't think they've signed anyone. Oh, they signed. Sorry, my son just told me that they signed Dan Juma. Well, he was a waste of space at Spurs anyway, so he ain't really going to do much for them. And I think they've lost that Damari Gray, ain't they? Didn't he go to? I read the other day he's looking for a move away.
Yeah, they're dead food. They're dead food.
Yeah, so I think Everton are going to be struggling, and I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for 3 points at Everton. We're going to break our hoodoo, and we're going to win that game 3. Then we come to the Spuds. With their new Australian manager, Mr. Celtic, champion in Scotland, means nothing down here, mate. And when he comes, he's going to find out exactly what the Premier League's all about. That's a guaranteed 3 points against the Spuds.
I can't remember the last time they
can't
beat
see us
us.
getting turned over at home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not only that, and I think Harry Kane will go. I think Harry Kane will leave. He hasn't really been involved too much in their pre-season. So I think they're preparing for life without him. I think this is going to be a last-minute deal, and I think he will go to Bayern. I don't really understand the Bayern move for him, to be honest, but I don't really care because he doesn't play for Arsenal, so I don't care. Then we're going to go to Bournemouth. Is Bournemouth home or away?
It's don't know why I haven't put that there. I believe it's away.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bournemouth is Bournemouth. They'll put up a little bit of a fight, but again, we're going to be too strong for these dibby teams. I don't think that any of these so-called smaller clubs are going to have anything to stand up to us. Yes, they will pack the midfield and the defence, but I think we've got too much in our game. Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Rice, Partey, Havertz. It's just too much. So that's going to be 3 points. Then we come to the biggest test of the season, which is City at home. Now, this already, in my opinion, is a must-not-lose game. We must take something from this game. From the Charity Shield, both teams are very evenly matched. We think we know how Arteta's going to set up with a double pivot. Rice gives you that little bit of added protection because he's got the speed to get back that Xhaka lacked. So I'm going to go for a point there. That's going to be a draw.
Okay. The only person that's gone for an Arsenal win there is Tom. Tom Aston's the only one that's gone for an Arsenal win there.
Why am I not surprised?
I can't see what Tom put, but I bet Tom's put 3 points for everything, can he?
Well, I mean, you think back to not last season, but the season before that, when we outplayed them, and then Xhaka and Gabriel blew it for us. We just need to get back to that because I really do think that, guys, until we get over this and take 3 points off them, we ain't winning no league. So this game is a game we have to win, and then that's the marker for me. That's the marker. You win
but
here.
I think as much as you say that, Apollo, to not lose to them, you're gaining points on them because if you lose to them, you've lost 3 points. So if you take 2 points from them, it's pretty much even.
Yep.
Right. So then we go to Chelsea away. Obviously, they now have Pochettino in the hot seat. But again, the players that they've signed, I think that is it Nkaku, Nchaku, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's out long-term injured, isn't he? He's done his knee.
That's right. Yep.
So he's out for about 4 months. So I think it's going to be pretty much the same Chelsea as last year. Obviously, he's got to find his feet there, Pochettino. He's got to find his best squad, best players, best 11. And I think that we go to Stamford Bridge. And I think, again, we're going to be too strong, as obviously we're pretty much the same team as last year, but with the recruitment of Timber, Rice, and Havertz, we're going to be too strong. And I think Havertz is going to score. Havertz is going to score against his old club, and that will be 3 points to Arsenal.
And celebrate.
Yeah,
and celebrate like crazy.
Yeah.
And then we go Sheffield United at home. Now, this probably would be a banker result, but Sheffield United, I don't know what other games they've got in the Premier League. I'm not too sure that other fixtures. If we may be the first big team that they play, I wouldn't have thought so after sort of like 11 games. But I think again it's going to be 5 at the back, 4 in midfield, and like the lone man up front. It's going to be difficult to break them down, but I think we'll get the job done at home. And 3 points.
So the Chelsea one was a win, yeah? Just to make sure the Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea one was a win, yeah.
Okay, so that puts you on 26 points. Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's move on to Beezy now. Beezy, run down your things. Let's have a here and see what you got.
All right, I think Forest. I think we smoked Forest at home. We got to win the first game of the season, so it's not even in question. I think the players will want to perform at home, so no doubt about it. I think we take 3 points from the first game. Crystal Palace, I don't think we'll struggle against. Like Zaha was a big part of their team, and I think losing him, I don't really think Zaha brought that big experience to their attack, and without them having that, I think they're going to be in a bit of trouble, to be honest. Fulham, they lost their striker now, innit? What's his name? What's the striker that used to be at Fulham?
Mitrovic.
Yeah, he's not there anymore, is he?
Well, he wants to move away, but he's not gone yet. But yeah, the manager don't like him. The manager told him, "You're not going to play with us this season." But no one's put in a bid for him yet.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll struggle. I don't think Fulham away will be that much of a difficult game. So I think we'll take 3 points there.
Yeah, if he goes, they're going to get relegated.
Yeah, United. United will, see, this is the thing. United will be
Darren and lands it.
Listen. Let me tell you something. United will be a hard game, but I think like last season, I think Arsenal as a team realized like, look, if we want to challenge and be in a position where we can win the league, we cannot be scared to play these. We need to get back to like how we were in the Henry days. You know, when teams didn't want to play Arsenal, no one wanted to come to Arsenal or play Arsenal when we had Henry, and I feel like the team spirit is starting to get to that stage where, hold on a minute, why are we scared to play these lot? These lots should be scared to come to the Emirates and play us. And I feel like, especially after Nketiah was on smoke last time they came to the Emirates, I think that, I think that we can do United at home. It'll be a hard game, but I'm going for 3 points in that game.
Agreed.
Everton, I'm not so sure about Everton, if I'm being honest. I know their team's not that great. I know their team's kind of dead, but I thought the same thing last season when we went there, and for some reason they decided to turn it on when we went there, and yeah, man, they were just a completely different Everton team to what we had seen from them. So,
and you know what? The scoreline doesn't do it any justice. We should have lost that by 3 or 4 goals.
100%.
Yeah, we did get battered there. We was lucky to come away with 2-1.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping, I mean, I'm a bit indecisive about the Everton game, but I'm going to go for a point. I'm not going to go for 3 points. I'm going to go for a point at the Everton game. Tottenham, that's a no-brainer. That's 3 points. It's not even a question. We don't even need to discuss that. The players know what time it is. That's not happening. Bournemouth, 3 points. Not even, I don't think we'll struggle there. City, again, same kind of point. I'm saying, like, City coming at home, Pep is not going to go all out. Pep is going to want the players to be a bit defensive and try and get a point out of that game. And I feel like if Arsenal are serious about competing for the league, they're going to know that when Man City come, we got to beat them at home. Because us going to the Etihad, that's not going to be an easy game. Like, you know, we're going to go there and we'll probably try and get a point from there, but they're going to want to be on smoke when we go there. So I feel like, you know, especially obviously playing them on Sunday, like whether people see it as a friendly or not, I think that will be a massive confidence booster to the actual players, because regardless of how, the fact of that matter is we won the game against City. And I feel like City are going to still need to find their footing in the first couple of games because, like Gary mentioned, you know, De Bruyne hasn't had a chance to play with Haaland, and they're gonna still need to work on building that in their first few games. Whereas obviously we are kind of just gonna look to hit the ground running. You know, we've hit preseason with the same squad, and by the time we get to the City team, I'm hoping that we would have good momentum. The players are obviously playing well off each other, and I'm hoping that we can kind of, you know, every game that we play at home, and we're just going for it, and we're killing the games off early. So I'm gonna go for 3 points in the City game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
But see as you say that, BZ, like to go out there and to go for it. That's when we come unstuck against the teams like City.
But you know what? For me, where we struggled last season was we go into games early, we try and kill it off, and then we lack defensively. With how good our defense looks at the moment and the potential that we have with the signings that we've made, I would like to think that Arsenal are not going to be 2-0 up in these games like we were against Southampton, or sorry, not Southampton, but Liverpool, and then like just throw it all away because we're making mistakes at the back. I'm hoping that we're not going to experience that this season. You know, hopefully that was a learning curve for the players.
See, I see it. If we go into the City game at home and play like we did on Sunday, compact, wait for them to come, and then we hit them on the break. Because like I said in the stream on Sunday, there's a reason that Spurs turn them over all the time, because they pack the defense, they pack the midfield, and they bring City on, they hit them on the break. That's why they get results against them. It's the negative football. You know, and listen, I remember in the days of George Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Boring as hell, but we got results. So against City, I'd take that all day long. Keep it compact, but make sure we get something out of the game. That's 100%. How I see it.
And you know what? The biggest thing like that we've seen so far is Arteta seems like he's going to have different styles to play against different teams by using different players and different formations. And that's something that I feel like we're not really used to. And on top of that, like I mentioned to you, Dad, at the end of the day, like Arsenal...
But it's something that we've been crying out for, though. Something we've been crying out for all last season. Stream.
Exactly.
We were saying the same thing.
And Arsenal haven't really had players that are giving other players competition. Like if you do not perform now, you're the bench. There's someone else to take your place. Like Arsenal haven't really had that. So it's going to be very interesting to see our squad play like their life depends on it. Because apart from Saka, everybody else has someone that can come on and give a good performance. Do you know what I mean? So that I'm hoping is as well is going to boost the team's performance in every game, because no one's going to want to lose their spot. And I think it's an amazing problem for Arsenal to have.
Yep.
Chelsea away, I don't. I mean, Chelsea's been looking good in preseason, but like Gary said, with Nkunku's been a big part of that. And if he's out for 4 months, man, that is going to be a massive blow to Chelsea, to be honest. So I see us beating Chelsea away, and Sheffield, I see us getting that win at home as well. So. Yeah, man. I see us having a good couple first 11 games, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, if we could start like that, that's the second 28 that we've got along with Tom. So that's pretty much roughly where I am. To be honest, that's pretty much where I am going to be. Let's go to Nabil. Nabil, you already sent me your numbers, but do you want to talk us through them? You can change them if you want, bro.
Nothing that's not been said already. I mean, I think we're going to win every game, except I think we will draw at Man United. We can beat them for sure. But I think listening to my fellow United supporters, Sancho looks like he's on stuff. He's coming back a little bit. Bruno Fernandes is looking good as well. I don't rate Antonio that much, but I think Mason Mount might do a bit as well. Casemiro is always good. They've got that strong defense. I fancy them. I mean, to be fair, I'm just being conservative. I really want to be like Tom and just say every game, but I just think it's going to be United and City, the banana skins. But I don't think we're going to lose any of those games. I think they're both going to be draws, and I think we'll beat Chelsea. So, yeah.
Excellent. So, Tony, you sent me yours as well. Me and Tony was viciously WhatsApping each other today to try and get these results on here. Tony, you want to talk us through yours?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much.
One of the lowest scores, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to go too much overboard. I like to think, football's a game of peaks and troughs, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get a run, you go on a nice run, and then you get brought down to earth. Listen, I expect every team to lose to some lowly team at some point in the season. I expect Luton Town will find a marvelous win somewhere amongst the top 6, and everybody will be like, "What? Never saw."
Yeah, that'll be at Spurs though, Tone. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, I don't call Spurs top 6, but I mean literally. I'm erring on the side of the caution, and I'm also considering, look, who are we likely to not beat on the day if we're not at 100%. I think we've got so much strength in depth now that, look, if things aren't going right, hopefully the manager does what Bertram and I have been asking for: proper in-game management, substitutions early, changes where necessary with game changers who can go and win the game. But there are going to be games. So Man United, Man City, and Chelsea, is it?
Yep.
Just because, I don't know. I don't know if that's when we're playing Champions League football, and Chelsea obviously aren't going to be playing any midweek game. If we're coming back from a trip abroad, I know there's internationals and all that kind of stuff as well to consider. So without looking and seeing all that on the table, I'm just going to take a punt and say, look, we'll drop points in those 3 games. But it might not be those 3 games. It might be Everton, Bournemouth, and Sheffield United, and we might win all the others. But I'll take it either way.
Excellent. And Danny, welcome to the stream, bro. I know that your schedule is busy, and I always feel, blessed when you come onto the platform. So I appreciate the love, Danny. Danny, you want to talk us through yours as well?
Yeah. Big up everyone, by the way.
Danny, by the way, Danny, you can change the numbers because you and Neomis have got the lowest scores here, man. And Lewis.
I'm sticking with it, but
okay.
I'll explain why, innit? Like, basically, all the wins are self-explanatory. But with the Man United game, I think that's always a tough game, and that could go either way. We could win it, we could draw it. There's a chance we could lose it as well. So I've just gone for a draw in that. Man City, I've just got a sneaky feeling we're going to lose, but you never know. It's one of them ones. I don't know, but who else did I go for? And Chelsea, we drop them. Chelsea are going to be better this year. Their side is already good. They've got a good manager now who's used to managing young players and turning them into something they're not usually. So I think people are sleeping on Chelsea. Well, a lot of people have gone for draws actually. So, like they're going to be a better side this year. So I just think we're going to struggle with that. But like Tony just said, in any of those games we can drop points, and in any of those games we can win them. The ones that I've marked us down for. So yeah, man, that's my scores.
Excellent. So let's go to who have we've got to do? Ebony, talk to us. Let's get your scores on the doors down here. I think you and Vince are the only ones that we've got to do it, as well as myself.
Okay, so we'll be the axe that will chop down the trees of Nottingham Forest at home. It's a no-brainer.
That's a good pun. You've been thinking about that one for 10 minutes, haven't you?
I think
that's why she took the day off. That's why she took the day off work.
It was a day off. My scheduled rest day. No, I think Matt Turner will possibly have a point to prove. But, yes, he did show flashes in the World Cup of what he can do. But quite frankly, I wish we didn't let him go in one sense. But then, he needed a lot of work on his game. So that's going to be 3 points. Crystal Palace, is that away?
Yeah.
Whether it's away or not. Yes.
Yeah, it's away. Yeah.
Okay. Not going to make any difference. Yes, they've lost Zaha to Galatasaray. I think he was there their best goalkeeper or their highest goal scorer even. I don't know. We're going to win that. That's just a no-brainer. Fulham, they had a pretty good season last season. They surprised a few people, but I think, you know, we know what's up with Fulham. I mean, Fulham tend to turn up when we turn up, but we're going to win that. Man United at home. I can't remember the last time they actually beat us at home.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just don't. I know they beat us in pre-season, but then, you know, I never take pre-season that seriously. And everybody all Man United fans got.
Yeah, but that was only due to 2 mistakes that we made in that game.
Yeah.
They didn't have a hope in header scoring.
And the fact that, you know, we've got a better defense this season, I think that'll be a win. Everton, yes, they were our banana skin. Yes, they turned us over at Goodison Park. Again, it's gonna be a win. I don't care who's there. Tottenham, you all remember the for mash get smash or for smash get smash. Well, we'll be the what's that kitchen tool that uses to mash potatoes? That's what we'll be to Tottenham.
Masher, innit?
They've got some.
It's called a masher. Losing the name.
That's it, the masher. Yeah, we'll be the masher that mashes the spuds. Yes, they've got a new manager. Yes, he won some stuff in Scotland. We all know that the Scottish League, with respect, I don't mean any disrespect, is not the strongest league in the world.
Yeah, you can ask Brendan Rodgers about that.
Exactly. I mean, I could manage up there. No disrespect, but and as Gary said, you know, he's going to get like a rude awakening. So 3 points. Where are we? Bournemouth. Next 3 points.
Oh, you're cleaning the table right now.
Man City. That could go.
She's doing the Tom.
Well, not quite. That could go either way, actually. Maybe Man City will have something to prove once again because they could be hurting. Because we beat them to a trophy. But I think I'm gonna go for a win because we know how to play them. We know how to play Man City. We know how to play Man City. You know, we've got the defense to keep teams like players like Haaland quiet. You know, De Bruyne can be kept quiet. The whole attack can be kept quiet, especially with Saliba and Timber there. So 3 points. Chelsea, yeah, all right. You know, they've got Pochettino as a new manager. Yes, you know, he's done great things with regards to wins and keeping the odd clean sheet with Tottenham. But that's going to be a win. Sorry. And Sheffield United, that's a no-brainer win. So yes, 30 points.
Oh my gosh,
she's optimistic.
She's cleaned the table. And I just want to say before we go to Vincey that you guys, when we did this last season, Bertram had the high score of 28. And some of you guys was laughing because you was like, Bertram is very subjective and, you know, he's very harsh with his views and, you know, rightly so. Bertram's got the right to say, you know, what he has to say and he doesn't follow the herd. Yeah, so it turned out at the end of the year that Bertram actually was the closest to getting it right. Him and Tom were the closest because we went 17 games, 15 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. So isn't it funny that, you know, you see these predictions like this and then Ebony might be right. You know, you don't know. He might be right. She might be right. Vincey, let's hear it. You got the conch.
Well, I think Arsenal's got some scores to settle in these first 10 games. Definitely, it's not an easy one against Forest because we haven't played them great in many of the games that we played them in the Cup. But I think there's going to be a victory there. 3 points there. 3 points again against Palace. I think they were pretty weak side, as it's already been mentioned, without Zaha. And we're going to do a number down at Palace along with Fulham. I think 3 points. I don't think they've got much that can match us. Again, after the way United got the 2-0 victory in pre-season, again, we were at home. And, you know, we're going to turn up. We're going to have to put a marker down. It's going to be a tough one, but I think we can get 3 points again.
Yes.
I'm not too worried because we're at home. If it was at Old Trafford, it was a different one. Now, this is the sticky one because, as already been mentioned in the chat, there's an international break. And going to Everton last season, what I saw was some nonsense. I believe we're going to really put some markers down this season. We're going to get a victory. We're going to get a victory at Goodison. So I'm going 3 points.
He's on a roll.
This one is going to be a tricky one because Tottenham at home. Is it going to be 3 points or is it going to be a draw? It's a hard one. I want to say 3 points. I really, really want to say 3 points. But I'm going to go for a draw.
Oh, wow.
Draw.
Harry Kane penalty in the 99th minute or the 100th minute these days.
I just don't know. I mean, it could be a referee's decision that does some foolishness against us. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a game we shouldn't.
That's the complimentary Kane penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't lose to them at home, but that might be a stumbling block that gets us to refocus in the games ahead. Bournemouth, I think we're going to. It's not an easy game, Bournemouth. You know, they do play us well, but I don't want to give them. I don't want to give them a point. So I want to go 3 points there. Again, it said before, if you want to win the league, you must do your business at home and you must beat the champions.
Yes, yes.
So it's a tough one. I actually said while everyone was talking that a point would be good at home and to go to their place and spank them. And that would be a nice way to win the league. So I'm going to go with a point. I think we've got to take strides, and we haven't had strides in the league against City by getting a point before. So, I'm going to go a point. Chelsea, 3 points. It's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough game because I think Chelsea are going to surprise a lot of people, even with Poch there. But I think we're going to get a result down at the Bridge. And Sheffield United, this is going to be a tricky one because the way they play. And I just hope we can come through this game without any injuries, because they like to kick us. You know what I mean? So 3 points.
We're at home on that one. We're at home.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with 3 points there.
Okay, guys. So all of you guys are done, and it's just me left, and I'm going to quickly run through mine. Forest, first game of the season with them fans in that stadium is not going to be a nice atmosphere for Forest. It's going to be an easy game for us. I'm looking for us to roll it. We rolled them 5-1 last year, and Reece Nelson came on, scored 2 goals and 1 assist. 5-0, sorry. Reece Nelson came on. That was his coming out party. Crystal Palace, like one of you said, I think it was Beezy said that Zaha's gone, and they just don't have a lot of balance, and there's not a lot of influx of money into that team, and losing a talisman like Zaha's gonna cripple them, and I feel bad for them because I got a lot of time for Palace, and Vincey's a fan of how the franchise is run, but we're gonna toast them. Fulham, as I said, is dead food. I just don't know where. I think they're gonna get relegated, and they were close to European football last year, but the thing is, Mitrovic got them 14 goals, isn't it? And so who's going to get their goals now? Yeah, so they're in trouble. They certainly ain't going to be Willian. Yeah, Man United, guys. I think was it Ebony? She said, when was the last time these guys won at the Emirates, man? They're going to be worried about playing us, not the other way around. So
Smokey.
that's 3 points there. This is our bogey game, but this is for us guys to come in and have something to prove. The only team that's going to have a chip in their shoulder in the Everton away game is us, because again, Vincey said it. There's a lot of payback on this list, And Everton is one of the paybacks on this list because while we've been consistent, you know, we've beaten United at home, we've beaten all these other teams. We started the season last year by beating Palace away. So none of the really first 4 fixtures means that much as far as revenge. But the Everton game, that's the one we can't do. We're going to blitz them. Tottenham, burn them spods. You ain't getting nothing from there. You ain't getting nothing from us. Yeah, as far as losing. Bournemouth, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But by this time, guys, we've played 6, won 6, and everyone's going to be backing up against us. I don't think teams are going to be. There was a period last season, just before the World Cup, where teams started to be afraid of playing us. They started, you know when teams don't care because they start coming at you and they start throwing hell for leather at you, and you're just like, oh, we're under pressure. But towards the World Cup, teams was just backing off on us, allowing us to play and press them and suffocate them and just dominate them. And I think that by the time this game comes right here against Bournemouth, everyone's going to be back in that mold. Teams are going to be afraid of us. So I think we're going to win. City, just like was said, in order for you to be the champions, you have to beat the champions. We will not win the league unless we put this marker down here. And I think that in this game, in the 8th game, we're going to come out and we're going to show what we can do. We've got a lot of admiration and footage from the game that we've played. And I just think that we've improved, and I think City haven't. And even though they've been great, Gundogan led that team to a lot of success, got them past Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-finals, won them the FA Cup with the 2 goals. He was big for them. He scored 12 goals last season, and he only played in 26 games. That's how
he was a massive player for them. Gundogan.
Massive. He was massive for them. They've lost their
City
captain.
are trying to get Paqueta.
Paqueta. Yeah, Paqueta. Yeah. West Ham they're not gonna lose Rice and Paqueta in the same. You know, this is the team that's in the Europa League, man. They're not going to sell him.
Yeah, no chance.
And they signed him to a 5-year deal, so they've got the cards. Chelsea, though, guys. You know what? I love me some Pochettino, man. I respect the guy. I think he's a good manager. I think Spurs done Arsenal a favour by getting rid of him, and that was the worst thing that could happen to Spurs. But I think I rate him as a manager. I think he's got a mess to deal with. I think it's going to take him quite a long time to figure out having 17 attacking players and a couple of defenders and 2 goalkeepers. That team, the whole structure of that team is going to take him a season to figure out. And I think it's going to be tough. I think he's going to be sat at the back. He's going to defend well. It's going to make it frustrating for us. And I think it will be a draw. And then I think we're going to blitz Sheffield United. So I'm going with 3. All right. So the high scores we've got here is Ebony's gone for maximum points. Tom, BZ, and myself have gone for 28. And then we've got Vinci on 26, La African Guna on 26, Bertram on 26, Nabil on 26, and Gary on 26. So we've got those guys who were pretty much near or thereabouts. And look, guys, if we're on 26 points out of a possible 30, we're topping the league. It's that simple. Yeah. If that's our record after 10 games, I said this last season, remember? I said if we're on 26 points in a possible 30, we are going to be top of the league. And you guys, you have to remember this one important caveat. Manchester City are always slow starters. The last 5 years, they've started slow and they've just finished incredibly fast. Danny?
Don't say that, please, Apollo, because they'll come flying out the blocks now. And then everything you say.
Not only that, I think the point that we've all missed as well is that City are not as far into their pre-season as we are. They're a couple of weeks behind.
That's a myth. Bro, that's a myth. They played as many games in pre-season as we did. I think we played an extra game, actually, because we played Nuremberg before we left.
Yeah, but they may have played the game, but I don't think they've had as much time actually back all together as we've had.
I reckon that's an excuse, man. I reckon that was just an excuse just to prep for the possibility that they might lose. Pep's clever like that, man. I have nothing but speculation to go on, and everyone else only has Pep's word to go on. So
So
Nah,
guys,
Pep is a bit of a mastermind when it comes to things like that. I can't lie.
yeah, he is. Arteta's going to have to learn the mind games this season because he's still. Remember, this is only his 4th season as a manager. He's by far the most inexperienced manager on the grid, and all them other guys like Klopp and everything, they know the game, man. They know how to play them things. I want Arteta to come out in this conference and say, "Yeah, Havertz is injured," and then play him on Saturday. Yeah, so just because that's what all them guys do. So Lewis, it's not Lewis, it's Tony. Tony's next up with 24, and then bringing up the rear is Lewis and Danny and Neomis on 23 points. So I'm gonna get rid of this list now so we can see everybody's lovely faces there, and then we can literally go into the final league position. Now, guys, start with Nabil. Is Nabil still here or was he gone? Okay, so Nabil's gone. Nabil said that we're going to win the league. Yeah. Bertram says that we're going to win the league. Tom says that we're going to win the league. And La African Guna says we're going to finish 2nd. So I'm going to go out on a limb and give you my prediction. I think that Arsenal are going to finish 1st. I think they're going to win the league this season. Neomis, I haven't got his number. I've text Neomis so many times. Oh, what's this? Apollo. Oh, hold on. This is Bertram. Apollo, my transfer rating is B-. Yeah, B- is a 9, isn't it? Let's ask our school teacher. Tony, is B- a 9? It's an 8. Yeah?
No, is at least a 7.5.
Well, Bertram is saying so hold on, Tony, help me out. Bertram is saying a B+. So what does a B+ translate into numbers?
Let's call that an 8.
8. How can it be an 8? All right, okay.
That's a 9, yeah.
It is a 9, yeah, because
a 9, bro.
well,
No, surely an 8 would be a 9, would it not?
yeah, well, that's what I thought.
A-
All
would
right.
be a 9.
Yeah.
No, well, so what does that make it A then? 9.5.
I'm confused, Tony.
Yeah, A
No.
plus would be 10. A plus would be a 10.
A plus is 10, so A must be 9.5.
Yeah.
A's a 9. B
Yeah.
plus 8.5.
So that's what I said, isn't it?
You said 8. But not
let's
to
say,
nitpick.
Thereabouts.
let's
It's
say
a long time since I
8.5.
left school.
For Tony, it was just last month. All right, let's say 8.5. Yeah, you happy with that, Tony?
Yeah.
I'm not doing nothing unless you cross this off, Tony, because you're,
No,
the,
that's
you're
fine,
the
that's
resident
fine.
teacher.
I'm sure Bertram will be happy.
All right,
Why
so
don't Bertram,
you're the
Bertram just give a number?
He did.
We don't use the metric system over here. This is the UK.
Oh, hold on. He said, Apollo, my transfer rating is a B+, which I translate to an 8, not a 9. Oh, so he said it's
Thank
an 8.
you.
Hey, Tony was bang on, see?
Oh, shoot, man. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Thanks for cleaning that up, Bertram. Rotted. Hey, Tony, I don't question you when it comes to these things, you know. I don't mess around with the resident teacher on the channel. So guys, I've changed that now. So let me go to Gary. Gary, where's Arsenal going to finish this season and why?
I am supremely confident with the signings we've made and the changes that we saw in Arteta on Sunday. We are going to win the damn thing.
Hey!
We are going to win the league, finish 1st. And you know what? It may even be another invincible season.
Hey!
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Hey, look at Danny's face. Up
That
there.
would be something.
Danny's not having it, man. Danny's not having it.
No, listen. If that was to happen, it would be all well and good. But I think we've got more than enough to go one step better. And yeah, I think we're going to win it.
Yeah, I think Pep is really worried right now, and I honestly don't see any team out there that's better than us. I don't. City is the only team I'm worried about. I'm not worried about nobody else. The way we went to Newcastle at the back end of last season and beat them up 2-0. When I saw that result, I was like, yeah, because I don't think anybody thought we were going to go over there and slap them up like that. And Eddie Howe, after the end of the game, he came on the camera and he said, we had no answer for what they threw at us. That's what he said. Managers don't normally say that. Yeah. He came out and said, we had no answer for what they threw at us. And so that's how dominant. And we're going to be better than last season. Once Rice gets himself accumulated, then we'll be fine. BZ, where are we going to finish and why?
I don't know, man.
Man's under pressure.
Nah,
Man's
you know
under
what?
pressure.
I'm hearing everyone say win the league. I'm like,
What a first stream to come on to.
Like, I can't even say top two because it's one or the other. Like, all right. So for me, I would like to say we're gonna improve based on like how we performed last season, which I think everybody else like that are not Arsenal fans, I feel like their thing is, Arsenal had their chance, they've blown it. I don't really think people are expecting us to put on a better performance than we've done last season. I feel like people just think that they're gonna see a decrease in performance, and I don't think that is the case. But I do think that, like, you know, teams like Brighton, Newcastle, who overly exceeded what I think people expected from them, will definitely happen again this season. Not necessarily from the same teams, but you know, it's the Premier League, like, you know, the best league in the world, and I think there are always a few surprises that we might not necessarily know how to deal with. I don't really know how confident I am to say, like, you know, City's not going to give us trouble in regards to like how their season will go. So I'm gonna say I think we'll finish second. I'm not gonna say first. I'm not gonna say win the league. I think we'll finish second.
You should have just said with top two.
So he's gonna go.
No, but I have to give an answer. I can't because that's the wussy way out, isn't it? I can't be like, yeah, top two. Nah, I have to give a dead answer, man. I have to give a dead answer. So
Listen, guys, and now he's created a situation now where at the end of the season, it's either me or him that's going to get it right. So it's pure banter between
100%. Yeah,
100%. Father.
100%. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here when the season's done. So I'm going to be like, everyone that says they're going to win, I'm going to be like, what are you not saying now?
So, guys, before I go on to Danny, let me just go straight to La'African Guna because I didn't know he was going to be joining us. La'African Guna, you can talk us through your top 10 predictions. By the way, BZ up there, La'African Guna, that's my son.
Oh,
So
wow.
Just wanted to introduce you to him, yeah?
Yeah,
Pleasure to meet you. Sorry I'm late, guys. I had a footy session and then got back, and we're still having power issues here. And
So it's footy now, not soccer, yeah? I'm glad you took my advice as the coach.
Yeah, I thought it's a safer route to go with footy. So no, so I just got back and I had no power until now. So apologies, but yeah, it looks like everyone is quite positive for the season, which is great. I think my initial feelings over preseason was a bit of a mixture. You know, the Man U game, I really thought we were going to spank them 3-0, and then we barely could create any chances. And we took a little bit of a beating twice in one game because on the penalties as well. And then the way we played against Barcelona got me hyped up again. I was really excited. And then against Monaco, back down, and then against Man City, back up, right? Because we basically competed against the best team in the world right now and then ended up pulling out the win. So really looking forward to the new season. As you can see, is being reflected in my predictions. So pretty much across the board, I feel like it's going to be very similar to last season, where I think we comfortably beat all the teams apart from the top four teams. Those are the top four teams is where I really have to think about it, like whether we're going to get a draw or a win. I don't see any losses apart from Man City, if I'm being quite honest. And in my predictions, I kind of went with, you know, since we finally got the voodoo over them, probably a draw. I'm going for a safe draw against Man City. But the rest of the games, a win. And then I just felt Chelsea away. I don't know. I feel like Chelsea might be underdogs this season. I think them and Liverpool are just two teams that I just don't know how to feel about yet, because obviously last season they weren't so great, but this season, I mean, they might surprise us. Chelsea, we know they have all the good players. I mean, they signed a bunch of random players as well that honestly I don't even know, but they might just click into gear with Pochettino, who I think is a good coach, and they might actually compete. I think there's going to be 6, 7, 8 teams competing for top 4 this season, you know, with Brighton, Newcastle, gonna be in the mix. But yeah, for me across the board, I'm thinking about the old Arsenal where under Wenger we'd beat teams, you know, 3-4-0 comfortably. That's what I'm expecting, you know, unless, as I said, we're playing a top 4 team. I think we're just beating all these teams quite easily. And yeah, 26 points. So my final league position of second, I don't really like. I think we're gonna win the league, but I don't want to jump the gun, so I'm playing it safe and I'm saying second. But yeah, I do think we can win the league. I think it all depends on a 6-pointer versus Man City. If we're able to draw against Man City and win the rest of our games, then I think we win it. But if we lose both games against City again this season, then we'll definitely finish second. So
stop hedging your bets, fan. Come on, come to the dark side.
No, I know. I'm always on the dark side. So I think it's very hard to predict it, before you see all the games, because there's so many ups and downs throughout the season. Like, honestly, all our opinions are going to change throughout the season. When we look back at this in December, we're going to be like, oh, why did I think we were going to, draw against Chelsea? Those guys suck. They're in 10th position, something like that. So I'm just playing it safe. I'm playing it safe and I'm going for second, but obviously I want us to win the league, and I think we'll be up there. I mean, we'll be first or second.
Excellent. So I can get rid of the list now so we can see our faces and go to Danny. Danny, where are we going to finish in the league and why?
I think we're going to start really well, yeah, and then I think we'll probably encounter some issues with a few of the teams, and I think we'll just scrape by in like 5th or maybe 6th.
What now?
I'm joking.
What?
I'm joking.
I was hey, did you hear the silence around? Listen, I've got a Brady Bunch full of channels on this thing right here. 8 people in the stream. Danny just dropped a bomb and it just went off like the Hiroshima.
I stayed silent. It took about 5 seconds for someone to speak, bro. Like, seriously, I think we're gonna win the league, innit? I think we're gonna win the league.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Danny said, "What? Yo."
Yeah.
Even my wife, I could hear my wife just say "what" out in the other room.
The whole street. What? Nah, seriously, I think we're gonna win the league, but we could easily finish second. We could finish third. Just depends, innit? It depends on them swing games like Man City's, the Liverpool's, Chelsea, Man United, even some of the lower teams. Look at Everton, Southampton. All these teams we played last year, Nottingham Forest, where we struggled. Leeds, the first game against Leeds, that could have easily gone the other way. Remember when we played Leeds at home?
Yeah.
So we should have got battered against Leeds, man. We got away with that one as well.
Yeah.
So I just think it's one of them swing games. So that we need to go our way, and then we'll win the league. If not, first.
You want to answer this one, Danny?
Yeah, but he won't. He's like, can't you see what he's doing with Fabio Vieira? He's getting like a plan B for the wing, someone who can hold the ball and go backwards. And
Vieira's not the guy, man.
Nelson, man.
Go get used to it.
Yeah, Nelson would be the guy.
Yeah, Nelson would be the guy.
As a sub, not as a starter, as a sub.
No,
and FA Cup and League Cup games.
I agree for me, but I'm just saying
but
you can tell what Arteta's planning by how he's playing the team, and that's where Fabio.
No, it's pre-season. He has to give these guys minutes. I mean, how can he not give these guys minutes?
But what's clear to
he
see?
didn't give Balogun minutes.
Yeah,
but that's because he's getting rid of him.
But what's clear to see is he is playing Fabio Vieira at that right wing position, so it is clear that he's, he can see that he can actually do a job there for him. And don't forget, this is what Arteta wants in all of his players. He wants them to be able to rotate in position. He wants Saka to come in to play in the 9 position as well as hold that line. So Vieira, quite clearly, he's going, well, look, I need you to be able to do that role there as well. Maybe you can't do what Saka does, but what you can do, you need to be able to know how to do it, where to do it, and who's going to be involved in it.
I'm putting it on record now that Vieira only starts FA Cup and League Cup games for me. Saka starts every Premier League game, every Champions League game, and Nelson comes in the 70th minute if we need to give him some time off.
Okay, back to Danny.
But I do think, just on that last point, I do think that Vieira, if you look at, Tony just mentioned about the difference between Vieira, who can't do what Saka can do. Can Trossard do what Martinelli can do, or vice versa? No. Trossard cuts back and brings the play back again. You get me? Or he will try and do a little skill to get past someone. That's what Fabio Vieira does on the right-hand side. He's just not as strong as Trossard. He's not as lethal as Trossard. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think they're going with that. But yeah, can I just make one more little statement?
Yep.
I think we've got a run in the Champions League as well. I think we have to try and win it. Like, I think we have to try and win it, but I think we've got a good run. I predict at least semi-final, if not final.
Ooh,
I think if you look at the Champions League, Danny,
okay.
I think when we was in the Champions League all the time, look at the teams that Real Madrid was proper Real Madrid, Barcelona was proper Barcelona, Bayern Munich was proper Bayern Munich. None of them teams exist anymore. They're all a shadow of what they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we was in the Champions League, losing to them in semi-finals, quarter-finals, and stuff like that. So there's no reason why we can't go into the Champions League and be strong.
Bayern Munich are no longer the great Bayern Munich. You know, they literally won
That's what I mean.
on the last day.
Look at the semi-finals last year, guys. It was Napoli, AC Milan, Inter Milan. That was the semi, innit? They were the semis, innit? Yeah. And City. That's the semi-finals of the Champions League last year. You telling me we couldn't go through to the final with that draw? Of course we could.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan.
So
100%.
This is actually one of the things that I think we need to focus on, because I think, you know, when we look at the opposition in the Champions League, this is as great a chance as we could have to win the Champions League.
Yeah. So Danny, what was your league position? Your league positions first. Yep, good. Nice one. Question. Emerson's got a question. He says to the panel, does any of you know what is the injury to it? Yeah, it's his toe. He's got a toe injury, which it's only a minor injury. They're basically saying he's back in training next Wednesday, from what I've been told from the training ground anyway. So he'll only most likely miss a game or two. It's no real big injury. Bertram here does say, though, let me go to Bertram. Let's go to Bertram. Sorry about this, guys. Right, okay, got you all back now. So Bertram says, we should win because Arteta now is learning how to manage games, as evident by how he managed the Community Shield. Alfie's saying, no one is worried that we won 2 in the last 6 in 90 minutes. Yeah, don't count to end of last season, Alfie. That was just another capitulation, which is basically down to lack of squad, down to injuries and all those other things. We are well equipped to deal with that now. After we talk about the league position and top scorers and everything, I'm going to get everybody's views on David Raya. So that's coming up in a second. So what have we got now here? So we have league position. Tony, where are we going to finish, Tony? And why?
Number 1 with
hey,
yeah, with chess. Nah, you know, look, I'm all about, you know, talk it into existence. You know, I truly believe, as I just said about the Champions League, this could be a phenomenal season, and I want it to be a phenomenal season. I really do. You know, I've talked about what Man City have lost and the questions that are going to be put towards Man City. You know, can they replace Gundogan? You know, what's that right hand side going to look like without Mahrez? You know, the fact that Kyle Walker's been to-ing and fro-ing, and you know, all these things could just play a. You know, and we know that when a team has had a season like what they've had, where they played so many games, the following season, it's happened to Liverpool, the following season generally doesn't go that well.
Yeah, you're right about that. So he's going number 1. Vincey's been quiet for a while, so before we go to Ebony, let's go to Vincey. Vincey, where are we going to finish and why?
It's a tough one. I'm kind of... So much is... Everyone's predicting us to win the league. Not just fans, pundits. I'm not sure how much Arteta and the fans and the players can take based on the amount of money that has been spent, the quality of players that's coming to the squad, for us not to win this season. But it's not going to be straightforward. Alfie's been putting comments on the fact that, you know, two games in the last 6. Well, we've got to now learn a different style of football. And I don't think we're going to blow away teams the way how we were blowing away teams last season at the start, because we've got to get used to a system. But I do believe we're going to get over the line. Now, there's so much gold going around on the kits, man. There's so much gold going around. That can only mean one thing. Look at Tony on his top, or look at the black kit. You know what I mean? Can only mean one thing. We've got to finish first. We have to finish first. And I think all roads are leading to us actually getting over the line this season. Champions League, I hear guys talking about Champions League. We've got to learn to play in the Champions League first. It is the best time for us on paper, but we've got to do the basics first. You know what I mean? We've got to go there and put in a shift, get used to playing midweek. When I say midweek, being Tuesday and Wednesday, alternate, get used to doing it. And if we get through to the quarterfinals, through the group stages, it's whoever we meet. So I'm 100% certain that we're going to win the league this year. And if we don't, I just don't know how Arteta. I don't know. I can't imagine what the fan base is going to be like based on how much we spent, how much pain that these players have felt for the past 2 seasons. It's huge. It's not just a case of, yeah, we're going to win a league. They've got to go out and do it. And I believe they're going to do it.
So we're going to finish first, Vincey.
Yeah.
Hey, full up of some pie right now. Right, okay, here we go. So Lewis, I haven't got as well. Once I get Lewis's, I'll put that on Twitter, and I'll put it up on the Facebook forum as well. So Ebony, where we're going to finish? The only person that's given us a perfect 10 out of 10 wins. I can't even waste my time and ask you where we're going to finish.
I would like to think that we're going to finish first, but it will be depending on, I mean, I know I've given like perfect scores, but then I like to be optimistic at the same time. I would like to think that we're going to finish first, but then, you know, we have to overcome our banana skins at the same time. Okay. And, you know, whether people like it or not, it is sometimes the so-called smaller teams that we have to watch out for. You know, last season we lost against Nottingham Forest. You know, last season, you know, we scraped wins against the other so-called small teams. And there is no such thing as an easy game in the Premier League anymore. All right. Even the teams coming up, we've got to watch out for. But in saying that, you know, I'm optimistic that, you know, we're gonna, you know, we will win the league the first time since 2004. But then we've got to remember, you know, there's the extra games as well, the Champions League, we've got the FA Cup, we've got the Milk Cup, whatever it is, whatever people want to call it now. So we've got like 3
Milk Cup. I love that. I haven't heard that in ages.
So, you know, we've got like those competitions as well as the Premier League. So, and that's a lot of games. So we're talking like what? Well over 60, 70, possibly 80 games, depending on how much we progress in each of those competitions. I'm not saying that we're going to, you know, win the quadruple. It'll be nice, but we've got to watch ourselves at the same time. You know, not overcome the banana skins, do a lot of rotation as well, because you can't play you can't play your best team all the time. There are going to be times when you're going to have to rest players for certain games. And that's usually the early stages of the FA Cup and the Community Cup as well. So, yeah, so I'm going to say first, but at the same time, you know, I like to be as well as being optimistic, I want to be realistic as well. But my hopes is first.
Good. So let's we've got some guys in the chat. I've been putting the comments up as we show them. 18, just pure love. 18 saying Apollo's jersey is growing on me. At first I hated it and now I love it. Another good. So just for you guys who wasn't aware, we did a giveaway Arsenal jersey on the channel. It was the black top, the away jersey, and we had a draw on the channel. Everybody who donated cash to the channel went into a prize draw, and it was 18 that won it. So yeah, I'm going to be doing another giveaway. I just have to figure that one out. 18. So I know you guys haven't made any donations, so you better put your hand in your pocket. Right. So yeah. So for me, guys, as I said, everyone's got their predictions down. I'll wait to get Neomis and I'll wait to get Lewis, and then I'll post that up on the channel. What about transfer windows? It's a tough one. Nabil's gone for 8.5 on the transfer window. Bertram's got on for an 8. Tony went for a 7. He went for a 7 on the transfer window. Tony, do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah. I try not to be to overreact about players. And the player that I'm talking about is Kai Havertz. I've seen him play 2 good games. I've also seen him play 2 games where I'm like, I'm not really sure. I'm not really feeling his movement, his activity, his attitude. So, you know what? I'm hoping that he has a blinding season. But as far as the transfer window is concerned, right now, I'm feeling feeling like we need an improvement in the striker department. And as Bertram has said, I also agree with Bertram 100% that we should be looking to buy Tony in January.
Yeah, I mean, I look, if Harry Kane, a 30-year-old striker's worth 87 million, I think it is, and they're talking about Usiham is 150 million, and how on earth is Ivan Toney going to become affordable for anybody? I personally don't think that they'll be looking to get anything less than 100 million for Ivan Toney. I don't think Brentford. I don't think Brentford's that stupid. It's going to be a lot of money to convince them. They're planning to wait until the new year for him to come back because they want to stay in the Premier League. Yeah, and he's been missing from their team before, and they played well. Remember, they beat Liverpool. Remember, guys, last year they beat Liverpool without Tony, and so yeah, I don't think they're going to sell him. That's madness if they do. If they sell him, any dream that they got of getting into Europe is done.
I think now would be the time to put a bid in for Tony, not wait till January. You put the bid in now.
Agreed, 100%.
If you're going to do it, it's just something that you just do straight away now. We'll give you 30 million, take it or leave it.
Yeah, but you know what? You say that, Gary, nobody's going to buy Tony when he's got a 6-month ban because that's money wasted.
Yeah, it's wages and everything wasted.
Yeah. That's money wasted. So it is going to be January when people, if they want to buy him, they're going to buy him in January. They're not going to buy him now. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, let's get a quick hit. Danny, deal or no deal on Ivan Toney?
I would take him, but we ain't got the money. You know, we ain't got any money. That's the reason we're getting David Raya on loan to help us with FFP. We're taking him for 3 million with a 27 million.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's what David Ornstein and Fabio.
No, that's what Fabrizio said, but that's not entirely true. I don't believe that.
Well,
I was just about to say to Danny, most of our fans don't look at the books, so they don't believe in FFP.
No, we don't have any FFP issues. I think it was just a cover up because there was a mistake, and
I think we're going to sell players. I think we're going to sell players before the end of the window, right? But then we'll be able to spend that money. But right now we're at our limit today. Yeah, so I would take Tony. Of course, I would because
I think the Raya deal makes great sense the way they've done it.
Exactly, I do as well.
I agree.
Perfect, brilliant business, but we just ain't. Yeah.
So, Danny, you would take the deal. BZ, Ivan Toney, deal or no deal? And I think we're looking to get 45 million on Balogun, and apparently the price on Kieran Tierney is 25 million. So that makes 70 million incoming, and we already have 39 million incoming, which would take our total incoming sales to about 110 million, which is way more than we've. That's probably going to be a franchise record, considering from what I've seen. BZ, deal or no deal, Ivan Toney?
Looking at it from a perspective of he's not available till January. Obviously, we know what Ivan Toney offers. He scores goals or whatnot. I'm kind of really looking at this from a perspective of by the time we get to January, Jesus, Nketiah, Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, they're all firing, they're all fit. At that point, I'm hoping that this needing a striker isn't a conversation, to be honest. So looking at, if we were talking about getting him in to start the season, my answer will probably be yes. Getting him in for January, I wouldn't bother. I'd focus on what we have, how the team's playing well. And I'd really like to see Trossard firing, man. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like him in that position. I know obviously Jesus normally plays central, and obviously Nketiah can obviously come there and cover, but I feel like Trossard's got something to offer that we haven't really seen consistently yet, man. So I'll probably say nah. Like from a January perspective, now I'd leave Tony, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, Havertz is the wild card, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of you guys. Vinci,
yeah, but Havertz, I'm not a fan of. I'll be honest. Like I've just from seeing him, I'll be honest. It's very apparent when you see the rest of the squad and how we're building up our attack. When you see the ball given to Havertz, like how fluent the players, it comes to a halt. And it's not to say that it's going to be like that all season for him, but it's very difficult to look at what Havertz has to offer the squad when he's coming into a squad that runs so well. I think that's the biggest problem. All our attacking players, they gel together so well. And having anyone come in and fit into that is a big ask. So I
think they're busy with that. I think it's where you play Havertz.
Gary, the biggest answer to that is, how is he going to fit into a team that's well-oiled like Arsenal? Well, Havertz is the second best player in the Premier League as far as movement goes. And the statistics show that in 6 various different modifications. And that's what Arteta has seen. And judging by what I've seen in the last 2 games, he's exactly what it says on the tin. His movement is exceptional.
I need to see that.
That's what I'm saying. If you play Havertz in the 8 and he drifts into the box late and gets on the end of crosses and little tap-ins like we saw him score against in one of the games in America, he could easily hit you between 10 and 15 goals a season.
Yeah, and that's all we need. Because remember, guys, did Liverpool have a fantastic overall striker when they won the league? No, they didn't. They had Firmino. Did Chelsea, when they won the Champions League, they had Havertz. Before, we Sergio
did you
Aguero
just undervalue Firmino? Did you?
I know. I heard that.
Firmino like that.
Listen, Tony. People are undervaluing
scoring Brazilian in Premier League history. Did you just undervalue him?
Yeah,
like
but Martinelli almost beat him last season. Let's not forget that as well.
Yeah. So Tony, what I did there was overvalue Havertz. Think about it. Yeah. Vinci, deal or no deal, Ivan Toney?
I personally don't think Brentford are going to let him come to us. I think Arsenal have missed the boat on Toney. We do need a striker. I've said it before. But I also do believe that Arteta is using, you can't spend the money we spent on Havertz and not get goals from him. It's criminal. As far as I'm concerned, you can't spend that money in that position the way we create chances and Havertz not scored 10 to 15 goals in the season if he's fit. So, and he's done that in his best seasons at Leipzig. So if that's the reason why we purchased him, he better score goals. So, and as you've seen, he drops in late into the game, into the final third. Yeah, and he will get cheap goals where you think, 15, 20 games in the season, you're thinking, Havertz has scored a lot of goals because he can score goals. The difference is, as Beasley says, his link-up play isn't as fluent to our eyes, and that doesn't breed confidence. So I do believe we need a striker. I do believe Arteta is using Havertz whilst Jesus is out, and when Eddie's not performing or he's not available, Havertz is going to be that guy because of that size he has up front. And 10 to 15 goals is what I'm looking for him this season.
Agreed.
10 to 15.
Agreed. So that's a no deal on Ivan Toney.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a realistic thing right now.
But you
But
would
yeah,
pull the trigger if you had the option, though, Tom.
I mean, if I had the option, I mean, it would have been a done deal. I'd pay the money now. You're saying it's wasted money, but in January,
he's
you're
the
getting
only
somebody-
striker that ripped William Saliba last season. Nobody.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
Nobody
Is
came close.
If you know, and you're going to manage your team and say, okay, right, you're going to let Balogun go. Yeah, you're going to let Balogun go, and you're going to think, okay, you know what, Champions League, you're going to save a spot for a guy who you're going to be able to shoe into your league and have a bona fide plan B if need be. It's a no-brainer. But I don't.
You wouldn't have to save him a spot because you get to read your Champions League squad in January, do you not?
Yeah, you got to.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, Danny,
Get
you wanted
to
to say something
resubmit.
before I went to African Guna?
Yeah, on this Havertz thing, man, I think people are. We're going back to the old Arsenal fans where we're too impatient, too expecting all this stuff. Yeah, when we signed Odegaard for the first season, he was a bit like we all were a bit unsure. We liked him, but
You lot were, I weren't. Let's get
Yeah, he
that right.
was.
I'm saying in general, Arsenal fans, yeah, as a conglomerate, yeah, we were all sort of like, he's all right, but it's like he's a bit like Ceballos or something like that. Yeah,
No. I have to stop you there.
Okay.
Don't put
Stuart's inquiry.
Hey,
I play for the same team, and that's it.
Ceballos market value is 70 million right now. So
Mate, that was
there.
a miss. That was a decimal point was in the wrong place, mate. That it was never.
Yeah, that's a massive misspell.
Sorry,
They've
Danny.
added an O there.
Sorry, Danny.
In Ceballos' first season, he wasn't that bad. It's his second season that turned everyone off him.
Nah, he was average both seasons, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the point being is sometimes players you'll have them for a year, and everyone's losing their shit, and then the second year they come good. So I just feel like with Havertz, people are going over the top. Also, there's 10, 15 goals and assists nonsense as well. How do you know he might not end up playing most of the games in midfield? Would you expect Declan Rice to get 15 goals? No.
No, well, you can't compare the two players that are playing in completely different positions and have different
If
attributes.
Arteta puts them in that same role, if he tells Declan Rice push up how Xhaka did, and then that's where Havertz will be playing, right? Pushing up like Xhaka did, but he will be a better version of that in that position. That's what we're hoping, right? That's what I think Arteta saw when he brought him in. That's what the rumours were anyway. So my point being
but what we've seen, Danny, is that actually, yes, that is what his job and in his role is, but he's playing a hybrid double pivot with Declan Rice. So I guess if you play a Man United, a Chelsea, a Spurs, one of the top 6 teams, you're going to see Declan Rice being more of a stay-at-home double pivot number 5.
No, it's horses for courses, yeah. Like you'll change the team tactically based on whatever. But I assume we brought in Declan Rice because he's an upgrade on what we had with Xhaka, yeah. A player that he's got better shooting because out of his goal to shots ratio is probably better than Xhaka's, right? Like because he doesn't hardly shoot, and when he does, it's a banger. So. Anyway, and he can dribble. Xhaka couldn't dribble. He's got pace. Xhaka ain't got pace. Like he's just a better version of Xhaka. You get me? That's what I saw in him before. Just 1 minute, Vincey. Yeah.
No. I'm gonna wait till you finish.
Yeah. So basically, like all of these expectations on Havertz is not going to do us good when he doesn't set the league alight, which he won't do. He doesn't have that capacity. At Leverkusen, he was a good player, yeah, but he was bought like Mudryk on the potential of what could be. He wasn't showing like, he's a world beater at Leverkusen. He was just an up and coming young player. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like Saka or something like that. He was just an up and coming young player. So I feel people are losing their minds and ruining what could be a good player for us. Already.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Well said, Vincey.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm talking about expectation on the ability of the player and the position he plays in and the money that you pay for a guy and where you're going to position him. Havertz can score goals. He can score goals. The thing is, we're not comfortable with how he's playing, but the guy can score goals. And if you think Jesus is out, if Havertz is going to score, he's going to play in the next 5 games with the chances we create. The guy's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Look, you've seen in pre-season where he's been, and he's still scored goals. So, I'm not ruining him as a player. I'm putting the faith in Arteta that Arteta has brought this guy in and he's shooing him in right now. We're going to get a tune out of him. I think he's going to surprise a lot of Arsenal fans. I think Chelsea are going to be a bit upset that he's gone because if he's going to play a good portion of games for us this season, he's going to make a difference in vital games. Whether it's Champions League, he's going to make a difference.
I personally think we're all missing the point, and it's not always about goals and assists. It's other things that they bring to the team, because Jesus is not prolific enough. And look at some of the chances that he missed last season. He should have easily had 25 plus goals.
Can't do it.
Yeah, that's not true, Gary. I did find that sheet that I was telling you about.
He can't do 25, man.
Yeah, about him being in the top 10 in Premier League history in goals and assists.
But that's what I'm saying is, but that's because he brings other things to the team apart from goals.
Exactly.
So work rate off the ball, making runs, drawing defenders away, allowing other players space to score. This is all stuff that Havertz could bring to the team.
Yeah, making goals too. So
so I think if I can just quickly interject, I think what we're saying is the likes of Jesus and Kai Havertz are your typical floating nine.
False nines.
But what I'm looking at is we want an actual nine. Now the real number 9 is Eddie Nketiah, right?
Yeah.
Whose numbers to me, as you often say, are good. I'm happy with Eddie.
Yeah, me too.
But I actually want to kill a number 9, like a Haaland, like a Lewandowski, like a Mbappe, like
we're not getting that this season.
Yeah, where are they, man? I mean,
that to me
next summer.
Tony.
Yeah, I get
I don't believe Arteta wants that type of a leading striker.
Yeah, I've said that for years. I've said that for years, Vincey. Let's go to the African Gooner because I've been waiting to get his views on Ivan Toney.
Yeah, and you have to hold on to so many thoughts. You just forget all of them because the conversation is like swaying.
These guys are so passionate. I love them. These guys are passionate.
So I've been holding on to a couple of things. The first one was to BZ. Trossard and Havertz are not the same player. I totally agree with you. I want to see more of Trossard. He deserves to be playing way more minutes considering the fact
100%.
of his performances during preseason, but he can't do the hold-up play, right? He's going to do a very different type of play than Havertz. My point to Tony, giving a 7 out of 10 is way too harsh, man. We just broke our transfer record for Declan Rice. The only negative for me this transfer window is our outgoing so far. But I wouldn't go so far to saying a 7 out of 10 because we signed Havertz. Now, my point on Havertz is the difference between Havertz and Eddie Nketiah is when Eddie Nketiah plays against Man City, we didn't see the same hold-up play because we couldn't hold up the ball. We'd hoof the ball up and we'd lose it every time and then keep coming back at us. Over this weekend with Havertz, he was able to ride the challenges, get the ball down, and let us at least have some of the play, which is the massive difference. But I hear your point, Tony. He's not a clinical striker. You said two good games, 2 bad games. Let's not forget, one of those bad games, our whole team was bad, right? So we can't just single him out on that one, right? And I think a lot of us are still like thinking of him as this Chelsea player that wasn't really great. And we still have that mindset, we have a little bit of a bias towards him, whereas I've given him a complete clean slate. And I'll be critical. This weekend, he should have scored one of those 2 goals without question. That second one, even though it was
the second one, especially,
you bang it in the bottom left corner. That's an easy goal. You should be scoring that like 8 out of 10 times, right? So I do agree he's not clinical enough. But for me, Dan, you can't be comparing Havertz and Declan Rice. Declan Rice is not a proven goal scorer. Something that I might have oversighted was that I thought he was going to score as many goals as Xhaka. And maybe it hurts to say this, but maybe Xhaka scores more goals than him. And maybe the role that Partey and Rice plays is that Rice will just open up the game, and you're seeing his partnership with Martinelli. He's going to get on that left side and he's just going to cross it, and people are going to be finishing it. So he's not going to be like Xhaka actually scoring the goals, but he'll be assisting way more than Xhaka and maybe scoring a couple of goals that are long-range goals. Whereas Havertz, as we said, he's a striker. Like, he plays striker for Chelsea, as Vincey said. Like, he's a goal scorer. We know him as a goal scorer. We don't know him as a proper 8 unless we're talking about his German days, right? So I agree with Apollo. It's a wild card, but I think we're being way too harsh on him. So those are my overall points. Ivan Toney, bang on. I would definitely do it now. I don't think he's 100 million Apollo. I think 60 million. We definitely can get him, even if we wait till January, because he's kind of like tarnished goods. You know what I mean? I don't think they could ever get 100 million after what.
You don't think they would reject the bid? I mean, he's had a lot of problems. He's been taken to court. He lost the case.
No,
there
I know, but that's what I'm saying. 60 million,
gambling.
50 to 60 million. I think we easily can get him in January. I agree with Tony. I'm also seeking that like Haaland, that Lewandowski, that Suarez. And I also want that player, but we've spent so much money, man. We can't be too greedy. Like already this rate
$250 million.
A bonus for me. So
just quickly to touch on Irfan's point about prolific striker. If you cast your mind back, with the exception of Ian Wright, to my knowledge, with the exception of Ian Wright, Thierry Henry didn't look like he was going to turn out like he turned out. Dennis Bergkamp was the same.
And
so are we saying that about Havertz?
Listen,
right
exactly.
Now?
So none of them looked in the beginning
like
they was going to be so prolific. For all we know, Havertz could be the same.
No, Gary,
you don't know African good. It's an unknown quantity. No, you don't know. It's something that we can't say. Havertz could start the season, start banging in goals left, right, and centre, and breed confidence. And before you know it, he could have 50 goals in a couple of seasons.
Let me respond to this, and then I'll let you guys go. First of all, a clinical striker, you see it from a young age. It's like Aubameyang. You know he's going to finish the chance just based off this weekend. Off of Havertz finishes, I can already tell you that he's not going to be that prolific goal scorer that's scoring 20, 25 goals like Aubameyang, scoring that goal against Spurs. Like,
but they're just not out there. Everyone's talking about let's get these strikers in, and where are they?
There's only one, isn't there? There's only one that you'd have to go for, and that would be Osimhen.
Tony, how much money is it going to take you to buy Usiham?
Yeah, but your point is mute, Apollo. The number one thing is there are loads of prolific strikers out in the world.
I just don't see it, guys.
Now. And B, you just talked about financial situation of Arsenal. They have the capability. Look at what Kirk has written. We have a bunch of players that if we could get decent money, you yourself tallied it up, 110 million. And you haven't even considered Holding. You haven't considered Tavares. You haven't considered Pepe. You haven't considered Cedric. You haven't considered Lokonga. You know, shall I continue?
Tony, no, I'm going to say my point just to Tony, and then I'll let you carry on. In my opinion, all these strikers you got are bringing up, it just doesn't exist. It's not out there. Strikers right now are in demand because there is a massive shortage in world football of strikers. You look at United. United's been looking for a striker for years. You look at Chelsea. Chelsea last season went out and literally bought every piece of scraps they could find to fill a hole and still failed doing it. If you look at Spurs went and bought Richarlison for 60 million. Because they were so desperate to find someone who could back up Harry Kane. How did that work out for them? There's just the guys.
Tony's falling off his chair.
Yeah, well,
I can't believe you think
we agree to disagree. Tony's got his opinion. I got mine. They're just not out there. Yeah,
we could have gone Vlahovic as well. To be honest, I agree with Tony. There is options, but I just don't think it's a priority for us until next year.
And Vlahovic, he chose Juventus over us.
No, but he wants to leave now. He doesn't want to be there anymore. We could have gone for 30,
he missed the boat. He should have chose Arsenal. Danny put his hand up before Vincey, I think. Danny, go on.
Yeah, go for it, Danny.
I think all this talk, I just want to go back to Havertz because it's just doing my head in, but like all this talk about Havertz being a striker is an absolute nonsense. When was his worst period in his entire career? At Chelsea, Where did he play most games at striker? At Chelsea. When was his best period in his career? At Bayer Leverkusen. How many games did he play at striker for Bayer Leverkusen? 9. How many games did he play at attacking midfield? 70 something. So like he played. So what I'm trying to say to you is that Havertz has never been a striker. Chelsea played him out of position, and what did he do at Chelsea? 100%. He was bad. So why 100%. Are we looking at him like he's a striker? No, Arteta played him up there because we've all said his link-up play was brilliant. What does Gabriel Jesus bring to the team? Excellent link-up play. Plus, Havertz is taller, so he can now jump. We saw him do it on one occasion. He can jump up and protect the ball, where like you can match a defender for size. You get me? So Havertz has never been a striker. Come off that. If we need a striker, we have to go buy one. Like we ain't got Like
No, we're
Havertz
not
is not
saying-
that guy. I'd rather play Trossard up front. If we're looking for a goal getter,
And that's what we're
Trossard
doing.
up
We're
front.
making that Liverpool team where everybody can fill in. Guys, if everybody on the team is scoring in double digits, it don't matter who's up front. Yeah? And that's what he's trying to do, because look at Man City. If Man City lose Haaland now for 6 months, they're dead. They are finished. But if Arsenal lose Jesus for 3-4 months or whatever, look what happened last year when Eddie came in.
Okay,
They don't
let's
even miss the beat.
let's please put some proper sense into that. What you just said, Man City
Thank
will
you.
not be dead if Haaland goes injured, because they have a capable striker in Alvarez who walks
Alvarez.
in and scores you goals. Now, let me give
How
you
do
an
you know
option.
he's going to
Let me-
score us?
let me-
Nah,
let me
man.
land,
He
let me
scored so
land.
many goals last season.
Let me
Nah,
land.
man.
Let me
he's
land.
ineffective compared to Haaland, bro. It's
Okay,
not the
let me
same.
land.
But anyone is ineffective compared to Haaland. Come on.
Exactly. That's
So
exactly.
all I'm saying is I'm quite happy with Eddie, because when Eddie came in for Jesus, yeah, he did a fantastic job in the period he was there to cover. So I'm happy with Eddie. If you change that around, you go sell Eddie and keep Balogun, I'm happy with that. What I am saying is there's an alternate plan in the methodology I'm thinking here. And this is gonna make you happy. If you got Ivan Toney, what you get is an instant upgrade to a Olivier Giroud type player, someone who scores you goals at a higher rate than Giroud, but also has the ability to bring in your Alexis Sanchez and your Theo Walcott, because his ability at holding the ball is unlike any striker we
Agreed.
have in the club.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I'm not going to
100%.
disagree with that.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
right. So Ebony and Gary, quick, both of you guys, deal or no deal on
Vincey's wanted to talk for ages.
yeah. Oh, sorry, Vincey, we didn't come to you, and then I'll go to the. I've still got 2 topics here at the bottom.
No, just a quick one. We've got to be mindful that the striker position has changed. Okay,
Yeah.
over the years, it has changed. Thierry Henry, yeah,
Depends on the system.
yeah, but the striker position has changed. You're getting wingers playing in that striker position. So Gary, when you mentioned about Thierry Henry not being clinical, those who knew Thierry Henry as a striker, as a winger, his ability was ridiculous. He learned how to finish in the striker's position, and that's why that's how you see how prolific he was, because his skill set, like Bergkamp's, was ridiculous.
Yeah, but what I will say, Vincey, there's no reason that Havertz can't learn to finish
Yeah,
in the
that's what I'm
striker
saying.
position.
And
Or
that's why I
Jesus.
said you spend 65 million on a player like that, 10 to 15 goals is not too much to ask in an
No, I
Arsenal
agree.
team
I
that
totally
creates-
agree with you.
that creates chances and assists. It's not too much to ask.
Yeah,
If
he's
you can't
24
do
years
that,
old.
yeah, if you can't do that, why are you spending 65 million on that type of player? It's
Exactly. He's
nonsense.
not even hit his peak yet. I think we're all being,
Yeah.
well, not all being, but most people are being harsh. Vincey, while you're saying that, what did you give the transfer? I've got to finish off ticking these boxes.
I'll just say
What
8.
did you-
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Brilliant.
haven't
What
got
about you,
Tony.
Ebony?
All right, so everyone's gone on and on and on about Havertz. Look, at the end of the day, he's not a natural striker. When you look at the squad, do we have more than one goal scorer? Yes, we do. Do we need Tony? It would be nice if we had Tony, but at the end of the day, we have to allow the purchases that we've had to get into full swing. Let's get to January, and then we can make an assessment. In actual fact, let's get to May and let's make a proper assessment on the purchases that we've had so far. And I don't know why people keep knocking Eddie. At the end of the day, and Apollo will testify that I am one of Eddie's biggest defenders.
She
When
is.
when Jesus was injured last season, Eddie Nketiah came in and he did a job. So he's more than capable of that striker's position. Okay, but I do agree that we do need a striker. If we do get Tony, then maybe not in January, maybe in I don't know, maybe next May, because I don't really believe in January transfer windows, to be fair. I just think that if we do need the depth in squad, and we do need more than maybe a couple more strikers.
So
So
how much do you give the transfer window?
I give it an 8.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but we do need another striker. But if we're gonna get Tony, like I said, wait till May. Let's look at what we've bought so far. Make an assessment next year.
Sorry, Danny, I forgot to get your mark for the transfer window as well.
Out of what, 10?
Yeah.
9.
Hey, Danny Maguire. Right. Gary, Tony, deal or no deal, but what's your grade for the transfer window?
Grade for the transfer window is a 9.2.
Right, I rolled that up to a 9.5. I rounded that up to a 9.5.
I think the transfer window's been great. It all depends. I think we can afford to lose Kieran Tierney now. I think it was Danny that made the point that was it about his skill set's not what we need, and I agree with that totally. But I think there was games last season where he could have done a better job than Zinchenko, and should have been played in certain games. But obviously, with the signing of Timber, that kind of alienates him now to kind of third choice left back. So time to move him on, get the 25-30 million in for him, and then reinvest it. We've managed to keep all our major players, and we've added 3 more major players. So that's why my rating for the transfer window is so high. We just need to clear out that last little bit of fringe that are not going to play and get the money back, like the likes of Tavares and Pepe, Cedric. Get them gone, get the money back in, balance the books a little bit more. Then if we've got money for one more player, then let Arteta go and do his business.
Excellent. So, guys,
sorry, and as for Tony,
busy. You, yep.
Yeah, as for Tony, I'd go and sign him. I'd go and sign him tomorrow, and bring him in January.
Excellent. So, BC, we didn't get your transfer window rating for Arsenal so far. What did you make of it this summer so far?
If I'm gonna be honest, I would go with a 9. To be honest, I think since I've personally been an Arsenal fan, it's a very rare, if not the first time on multiple occasions when we're going in for multiple players that I feel like we've signed what we needed, and not only have we signed for positions that we've needed, but like key players that are actually good, not just players that can come in and be okay. Like we've actually signed players that are like top of that position at this point in the league / arguably in the world.
He's so young. He's so young.
So
he's so young. He don't remember that summer when we bought Petit and Vieira and Anelka.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. I weren't big into. I went into it them days. So that's what I'm saying. Like for me, in my time, in kind of this era where obviously it's very rare to see this. You ain't seen this from Arsenal in a long time. Yeah. So for me, that score for me would only improve if I know a lot of people say, oh, we need a striker, we need an attacker. I feel like goals are coming from so many places, and I feel like that's what Arteta's trying to create, a system where our goals aren't reliant from one area, because then it's harder to defend against. And I feel like the only thing that we've kind of really lacked on is getting rid of players, like getting players out. But to be honest, I'd much rather have the issue of having too many players that we need to get rid of than getting rid of players and needing to fill those spots and bring players in. I'd much rather be in this position. So, but for me, it's been a 9, man. I think we've done very good business. The timing of how we've done our business has been very early as well, giving the players enough time to train as a squad, play matches together, and hit the season running, knowing how each other play. So for me, I'll give it a 9.
And who's going to be the top scorer this season, BZ?
I'll be honest with you. For me, I feel like Saka's the only person at this point in time that I don't see not playing consistently. I can't see I can't know who's going to play more games out of Martinelli and Trossard on the left. I can't really see who's going to play more games out of, like, let's say Jesus, Nketiah, and obviously arguably Havertz. Like, so Saka for me on the right is the only person. Like, no one else is going to play there unless he's injured. So for me, I have to say Saka.
So I'll put that down there. So I have said Havertz is going to be our top scorer this season. Nabil said it was Jesus. Bertram said it's Martinelli. Tony said it's Saka. African Guna said Martinelli. And Tom said it's Saka. Vincey, who's going to be our top scorer?
Tough one.
What do you mean tough one? It's in your damn name.
Well, you know that it's a tough one because barring injury.
Yeah, but Martinelli doesn't get injured.
Barring injury, it's going to be Martinelli. Yeah, it's going to be Martinelli. Barring injury, it's going to be Martinelli.
Ebony, who's going to be the top scorer?
I have to check him real quick. You see that?
I want to move away from Saka because everyone, relies on Saka. There's too much reliance on Saka. So I'm gonna go. Yes, there is, Tony. So I'm gonna say Martinelli.
Not anymore. Not
Martinelli.
I'd like to think not anymore, but the thing is though, what I'm worried about is burnout. Yeah, and injuries as well because Saka does get an injury. So I'm hoping, out of Martinelli and Saka, I'm hoping it's Martinelli to give Saka a little bit of a rest.
And the last one,
I just wanted to say the reason why I picked Martinelli is he really wants to break Firmino's record. And last season they got it equal, 15 goals. So this season he's going to go.
Yeah. He's only Martinelli's only problem is Trossard. Danny, who's going to be top scorer? Trossard.
Saka.
Yeah,
we can't say Trossard because we don't know if he's going to get the game time. That's the only issue.
Gary, who's going to be the top scorer?
Saliba.
Oh my God. I have actually typed that in as well. Oh God, damn it.
I just wanted to say something different.
Yeah, but it didn't drop like Danny's, man. Danny's one dropped and everybody just went boing. Yeah. Come on. All right.
No, I think it would be between Martinelli and Saka. To be honest,
okay.
I'm gonna go for Martinelli by 1 goal. I think he'll hit 20 this season.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Right. So that sheet is done. I can move on, and then go to our last topic of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So
did we do the transfer rating? Because I didn't get to do mine because we were
we did. Hold on, let me see what I've got for you. African Guna.
I gave it. I'm sure I gave it a 9.
You did. I've got 9 down here for you.
So just quickly, the reason I gave it a 9, and that's why I was referencing to Tony 7. I think that's quite harsh. 9 for me has been, in terms of incomings, has been a 10, above a 10. The only reason I have to give it a 9 is because outgoings have been way too slow.
Can't be above a 10, bro.
Yeah, it has to be above a 10. It has to be above a 10. I don't know what expectations we have. This is like the best window I've seen as an Arsenal fan. I mean,
it can't be above a 10 if the rating's only up to 10. If the rating was at 20, you could say it's a 20.
Yeah, it's obviously over a 10.
Did we buy
exaggerating the point of how good it was. Yeah, incomings.
All right, guys. All right, let the man talk, man. Let the man talk.
Yeah, I know, right? Incomings is above a 10 for me. I'm extremely happy. If at the beginning of the window you told me we're going to sign all these players, and I'm including the Raya loan in the above 10 rating. The only reason I'm bringing it down to a 9 is because the outgoings have been too slow for me. I think we should have already gotten way more out. If we still get it done by the end of the window, I'll bump my rating up to a 9.5. But that's the only reason I give it a 9 is because outgoings are a bit slow. And I don't want to see us canceling Pepe's contract and Cedric's contract. We need to try to get at least like a couple mil off those guys.
Yeah, so, guys, our last topic of the evening is going to be a very controversial one, and it is David Raya. So David Raya deal is done. I just want to give my 2 cents on it. This was a guy who was demoted to second string and only had a year left. So it was desperation times because he had already had 5 teams that came in for him, and he basically told Brentford, the only place I want to go is Arsenal. And we know he's got a coaching staff member there who was training him at Brentford. So, look, in my opinion, does he come in and upset Ramsey as the number one? No, I don't think he does. Could he be the starter by the time Christmas comes or later on in the season? I pretty much think so. But statistically, yes, he's a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale. But I do want to talk about the distribution side, because on the radio, on Sky, on BT Sports, they are banging away that this guy's got the best distribution in the Premier League. But you know what they didn't say? You know what they didn't say? What? What, Apollo? What didn't they say? They didn't say that he was kicking the ball to Ivan Toney. So I looked at his statistics when Toney wasn't playing, and they were poor. His distribution was below average. But when Toney's in the team, the balls he hits over to him, Toney is just box office. Toney's got the best hold-up play in the Premier League. I don't care what anybody says. Ivan Toney's got the best hold-up play in the Premier League. Like I said, the only man to slap Saliba last season. No other man could lay a finger on him. Yeah,
and then brag about it on Twitter. So, man was doing a Troy Deeney on Twitter after he played Saliba. So, look, I'm not taking away all of his other skills, but I think it's still Ramsdale's job. And I think that this is something which Arteta's thought about, because if Ramsdale's form goes off like it did at the end of last season when he was quite poor, if something happens to him and he gets injured, he breaks his leg, we've now got a plan B. And we've got something where we know we've got no drop-off there. A lot of positions are like that now, where we've just got no drop-off. So I think it's a great deal, a great buy. And I think that he'll come in, and if he plays 10 or 15 games a season, then that's enough for me. Let me go over to Beezy, because he's got his hand up. Beezy, David Raya.
Can I just add to that, right? So I don't necessarily think, because you made a point there saying, like, will he be number one? Like, you don't think so, whatnot. With what Arteta's doing, I don't actually think that he's trying to build a team where it's like, this is my first team, these are the squad. I feel like he's trying to build just a brilliant squad. And therefore, like, when he plays against certain teams and he needs to switch things up or whatnot, I feel like that's what the squad is for. I don't really think he's going to have like every game, if these guys are on form, this is going to be what my first team looks like. I feel like we're going to see him switch it up based on the tactic he wants to use, depending on who we're playing against this season. And I've never seen what that looks like from a goalkeeper perspective. So I feel like it's going to be very interesting, man. But I'm all for it.
You're all for it. That's good, because, guys, a comment was made earlier on before. I think it was Cam that said having a great first 11 isn't enough to win the Premier League. And look, Manchester City can bring world-class players off the bench, which is why City can go on unstoppable runs and win towards the end of the season when other teams are feeling the impact of injuries, fatigue, and suspensions. So Man City are resistant to that. So again, the question is, David Raya, a good deal or not? Tony, let's get your fingers out. Let's get your...
Yeah, I just want to get it in while I've still got battery left, because I might run out of battery. But the easy way to look at this for me was, this reminds me of when Emi Martinez was the backup goalkeeper and everybody could see he was the better goalkeeper. And you didn't play him when you could see he was clearly the better goalkeeper. Now, what we will see, I'm pretty sure, is a European goalkeeper and an English Premier League goalkeeper, an FA Cup goalkeeper and an what's that other competition? Carabao Cup, whatever. Yeah. And what you'll be able to see on a week-to-week basis is Ramsdale, Raya. And we'll soon work out which is the better keeper. And I think Arteta down the stretch will go, whoever's the better keeper gets the job.
Yeah.
Come the finals, that's what we want to see. Because
that's the way it should be, though.
But is it not Ramsdale's job to lose? Is it not Ramsdale's
Turner had
job?
Clearly plenty of opportunity last term to play. And each time he played, we were like, I'm not really sure if he's the one. And you're an American football fan.
Exactly.
So you know very well, the quarterback is the meat and bread and butter of the whole team. If the quarterback doesn't have a reasonable backup, the whole team is buggered.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this is
exactly.
where we're at. We have to have the reasonable backup.
Yeah, that's right. Who wants to go next? Let's go to Gary. Gary's been quite a while.
Yeah, so I agree with Tony. I think back in the last season, obviously Ramsdale was going through some personal traumas, which he since divulged the other day. Obviously, Arteta didn't have faith in Turner to maybe take Ramsdale out the firing line while he dealt with his personal situations, which could explain some of his performances. But even though he was going through that, he still performed to a massively high level.
Yeah.
Some of the saves he made, especially against Liverpool, were absolutely top drawer out of this world. Now, if we've got another keeper sitting there that can come in and do exactly that and is good with his distribution, because let's face it, when Turner played, we were setting tone. Remember, we done that stream and we was like, what the hell is going on here? Do not give the ball to Turner.
Yeah.
Because he looked dodgy as hell. So I'm all for it. It creates great competition. They push each other and they can only get better. Each one can only get better. So, and like I said, like Tony said, the best person for the job, not just in the keeper stakes, in any position on that pitch. If Tomiyasu is showing the best signs at right back, he should get the start over whoever else, and so on and so forth. So I'm all for it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Right. Who's next? Vincey.
Yeah,
David Raya, talk to me.
Yeah, I think it's great forward thinking by Edu and Arteta, because we're building a squad that can compete in all competitions, and it's not just about the Premiership or the Champions League. So, yeah, great loan deal this year. I think we're going to do the League Cup this year. I seriously do think we're going to have a squad that's going to be able to perform in the League Cup. Well, happy. The only thing I'm upset about is my fantasy team, because Raya you can't have two in your team. So, boy, that's a madness. I might have to sort something out before Friday.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I had Raya in as a team, and as soon as Arsenal bought him, it says you got too much Arsenal players in your team. So I had to. Who did I swap him out with? And by the way, BZ plays fantasy football as well, everybody. So I think I swapped him out with the guy Pope from Newcastle. I swapped him out with Pope. Yeah. Right, who's next? David Raya. Ebony.
Okay, it's good that David Raya is coming in. We do need more than one proficient goalkeeper at the end of the day, because if my fiance gets injured, Matt Turner was unreliable, and I did actually say, in our chats, that it would have been nice if Matt Turner had stayed so that he can actually learn, learn to iron out his mistakes. And while we saw what he was capable of in the World Cup, when it came to like the cup competitions, he was a bit too. What was the last goalkeeper that we had that was error prone? The German one. What's his name again?
Runarsson.
No, not
Runarsson.
Runarsson. Leno. He was too Leno.
Bon Runarsson, bon him.
That's the contract you want to cancel.
Burn the contract, man. Bon him.
What Runarsson? I think that contract's gone. But good. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we do need a backup proficient goalkeeper. I don't see a problem with it. But at the same time, Ramsdale, he's got nothing to worry about until he's injured. Until then, people need to just relax. We're fine. So yeah, Raya can come in.
Excellent. Who's next for David Raya?
I got to jump out, guys. Been a pleasure.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Beezy, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Gary, man. You
see you around soon. Dan, same thing. See you later, guys. See you Sunday.
Nice one, Gary. Excellent. Right, who hasn't gone? Danny.
Oh, we've got Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, I didn't realize Bertram just joined the stream. Yeah, Danny, go on quickly, and then we got to Bertram.
David Raya, okay. I think it's a great signing. I'm unsure as to whether he's coming in to replace. I thought he was definitely coming to replace Ramsdale after a couple of games if Ramsdale wasn't good. Then I found out about the loan, and I know that's something to do with FFP, but it also might make us reluctant to commit to a player that we've got on loan as opposed to our guy that we actually have on our books. You know what I mean?
Good shout.
I don't know. I think he's a great player, but like who mentioned the thing about his passes being lumped up with Tony before? Yeah. So I see something on Twitter the other day about how, like, they showed a clip of Havertz in the game against City, yeah, like taking balls down with his chest from the keeper, and they were like, "That's why we're signing like Raya and that little link up there. If we've got a big guy up front, and then you can lump balls up to him, it kind of helps." So. Maybe that's why, I don't know, but I don't know, man. I think Raya is a better keeper than Ramsdale, though. I know everyone loves him here. I love him as well. But I do think Ramsdale has got that erratic sort of moment in him in a game where he can do something mental or cut it too close with a pass or something like that. Where he
don't you think that's consistent with his age, though? He's 23 years old. Don't you think that's consistent with his age?
Maybe, but we're trying to win the league, Apollo, man. We're trying to win the league and the Champions League and the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and all that, you know? So you got to be ruthless, isn't it? So if Raya turns out to be less error prone, less erratic, then put him in it. Like, there's no, it's not, we're not best buddies here. We're trying to win football matches. Like,
agreed, 100%.
Danny, would you compare Ramsdale to Szczesny?
No, he's better than Szczesny.
Okay.
Szczesny's a good goalie, you know.
Szczesny was
I know, but he don't have as many howlers as Szczesny, man. Remember, I think you lot are, your rose-tinted spectacles are on and shit up like
No, I don't think Szczesny can distribute the ball.
Szczesny has some howlers in him, bro. Like some big boy dropping the ball in the net kind of howlers.
His footwork isn't the same, but I you know, shot stopping. I put them both up there.
Yeah, Szczesny was a great shot stopper, but he had the Kolasinac bozo gene. You know them ones there. He had that gene in him that could always just bring a mistake. But yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Bertram, thanks for joining us. I know you haven't missed too much because you've been listening in on the different various topics. We've done our let me have a look at this. Let me get the sheet up before I get you to talk about David Raya. So Bertram, guys, said that we were going to finish on 26 points. Last year, Bertram was one of the highest, and he got it right. He says 26 points. He says we're going to win everything, but we're going to draw against City and Chelsea. Bertram's gone for that we're going to win the league, and he gives our transfer rating an 8 out of 10. So, Bertram, I want you to give us a rough overview of why you've gone for the numbers that you've gone for, and then talk about David Raya. So you got the conch for a couple of minutes.
So I think we have improved over last year. We have a very friendly initial schedule. I don't consider Tottenham to be the most quality opponent. I think Chelsea and City will be our biggest challenge in the games that you indicated, the first 10 games. So I do think we'll do really well as we did last season, given the quality we have, and we have players in almost, apart from Saka's position, in every single position. I think we have equivalent cover, which is essential to compete at all levels and not to play a number of games we played last season, because the last 2 years we have sort of ran out of steam at the end of the season. For the transfer window, I do transfers based on costs, based on value for money. So not just the player's ability, but how much did that player cost us? And I think Timber was 40 mil, and I gave him a 12 out of 10 because I think he's going to be the best of all the three transfers that we have acquired. And preseason is demonstrating that. He's a baller, and he can play 5 or 6 different positions, as he's showing so far. I think Rice is a good player, but he has a significant English tax to him. I think he's overrated. He's a good player, but he's not the be-all, end-all, frankly. He has a lot of limitations in his game. If you listen to Talk Sports and everything else, he's the next coming of Jesus in football. And when you watch him play, you're like, I called him El Neni 2.0 in preseason. Let's hope he does better come the regular season. And Havertz has these great stats in Germany, but this is the Premier League, people. It's the best league in the world for a reason. You could be great in some other league, like, what's his name? Werner was, who went back to Germany, and then you come here and you get a reality check where the game is faster, quicker. And even though your silk is smooth, you don't have time enough on the ball to exhibit those skill sets. So I gave the window an 8. I think the way I rationalized my decision was I gave Timber a 12. I gave Havertz a 7. And Havertz a 5, and I gave Rice a 7. Because I do think Timber has exceeded all expectations. And even though it's preseason, it's very obvious that the kid is a baller. And as it relates to Raya versus Ramsdale, there is no competition at goalkeeper position in any top team in football anywhere in the world. That doesn't happen. Because it's the one position where I can't just change you out in the 60th minute or the 50th minute, the 45th minute. That doesn't work. Unless you're being atrocious, that doesn't work. You don't run out of breath. You don't get tired being in the goal. And when your manager goes out and seeks someone that is at your level or higher, there's a reason for that. Pep replaced Hart with Bravo, and then replaced Bravo, who didn't do well, with Edison. And then he settled on Edison because, you know what? He can place the ball on a dime anywhere he wants to. And Edison has no competition. Alisson has no competition. Anana will have no competition. The kid from Real Madrid has no competition. The kid from Germany has no competition in Bayern. You don't have competition at the goalkeeper level. Nobody don't want to tell you that nonsense because
PSG.
Is PSG a team? And they had no competition because they bought Donnarumma. They bought Donnarumma and then they put what's his Navas on loan at Forest. They have no competition. He has no competition. He doesn't have competition. He doesn't have competition. So at the end of the day, they bought Raya because a couple of things. One is Ramsdale is error prone. And the way sometimes these organizations who track these things focus on is when the error results in an outcome which is negative. Look at how Ramsdale played. Pass the ball to the wrong person almost every single game. Not great with his feet. Okay? Makes errors, not necessarily errors in terms of collection of balls, a lot of errors with his feet. And you want a keeper who's like, I know he will make errors, but they won't be with his feet most times. And Alisson will occasionally, but he's brilliant all around. You want to save your hands. Not somebody's going to make these wondrous saves and then make these simple mistakes to cost you a game. You want consistency is what you're looking for. So I can't see Raya not replacing him. I could be wrong, but I don't see him not replacing him. And I know the view is that Ramsdale is going to be England number 1. Why didn't the manager make England number 1 already? He keep playing, what's his name from Everton in every game Pickford. So far. He keep playing Pickford. Why make him number 1? If he think he was that, because he doesn't want a keeper who's going to be making some mistakes, which you scratch your head as to why you make those mistakes. I can name what Ramsdale mistakes, whether it's dropping the ball against Man U, whether it's passing the ball against Southampton to an opponent, whether it's making one this weekend that we didn't get punished for, whether it's making one against City last year, and make one just in the Community Shield, he makes one. Managers don't want to have their heart thumping with a player who is supposed to be world class. When Partey makes a mistake, we all scratch our head, like he did against Rice against West Ham, because you expect to be perfect. Unfair, but it's reality. So I do think Raya will replace him. And I think it's going to be tough for Ramsdale because where does he go from there? There's now out unless he goes to another team. No one's going around looking for goalkeepers who are exceptional as a backup. And this whole view about it's only a loan, no, it's a sale. If you buy somebody with an option to buy, you can get that person. You have a contractual option to buy the person. This is not an option on the player's part or on the person who's selling the asset part. This is on Arsenal to buy him, so it's an Arsenal player. There's no out clause to say, you know what, Arsenal can't buy him. There's an out clause to Arsenal to say, I don't want to buy him. Arsenal is going to pay $3 million plus $27 million option. If they decided not to take it up, that's one thing, but it's all in Arsenal's favor. And I'm scratching my head why Brentford does that because unless he signed an extension to make the deal work actually. Because if you're Raya, why would you sign an extension when you're free agent and you can get a sign-on fee next year? He signed the extension to make the deal work in Arsenal favor because he's been promised. I'm telling you, he's been promised the number 1 slot. I'm telling you, else he wouldn't come.
Well,
He's been promised that slot. That's why he's here.
We'll see if that plays out. So, guys, listen, that's the end of our stream. So let me just hear overall closing comments. Vincey, most of the guys had to go because they needed to put some of their kids to bed, and luckily BZ already did that. By the way, Bertrand, meet my son BZ. BZ, that's
how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey BZ, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. You good?
I am doing well. I have to give your dad a hard time most times, you know. I have to give him a hard time.
Nobody gives me a hard time, man.
He loves Arteta to death, and he's blinded by certain things. He's blinded by Arteta. Blinded. He has these rose-tinted glasses on. I can't convince him otherwise. Arteta is a work in progress.
Hey, Bertrand, I have these conversations with my son every week, man.
I was going to say we have the regular...
We have a regular conversations every week. So, guys, closing comments. Vincey, let's hear of your overall feelings about this season.
No, I'm just excited. You know, as I said before, we've got a great opportunity. We can't endure too much pain. You know, we've had a lot for a few seasons, and we you know what I mean. We're on the up. So, you know, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this young squad, who are now men, can get us over the line.
What about you, Tony? Last thoughts?
Yeah, much the same as Tony, the other Tony, that I'm fairly excited. This is undoubtedly, as I said earlier, one of our best opportunities to do something because, as I said, we don't know what Man City are going to be like this season. They've lost some significant players in their team. The Champions League, to me, is there for the taking. You know, if we're better than Man City this season, we're Champions League contenders. That's as simple as it is. You know, none of the big 5, 6, 7 teams that you'd normally expect to be running the roost in Europe are doing it right now. None of them. So, you know, I'm excited, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious with my excitement. You know, I'm still waiting to see what the transfer window ends up looking like, because we do know that teams can come in and do massive business. There's a certain player called Kylian Mbappe out there. You know, I'm a bit fearful of where he's going to end up. I know there's rumors that Neymar could end up at Chelsea. I know that's not really going to affect us in a big way, but it's just a visual that makes you think, what could the Premier League look like if certain things happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. BC, your final thoughts of the upcoming season?
Like everyone, man, I'm excited to see Arsenal play, and I feel like the key thing for me is what I hope is that the squad don't watch what anyone else is doing. You know, what I hope that they're doing is just looking at how their performance was last season and being better than themselves. Do you know what I mean? If Arsenal go out there this season and they perform better than they did last season, I think that's what we need to do. Go by the bar that we've set ourselves, beat that, and I think we'll have a fun time, man. So and that's the thing. I want the players to have fun, because last season I feel like the players enjoyed it. Like there was no pressure. I feel like with the young squad that we have, they just enjoy going out there and playing football. And I'm looking forward to just seeing that in all competitions, man. I don't want us throwing anything away. Just go out there and play every game like it's a final. Just go out there, play, enjoy, and just try and improve on what they've done last season. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the progress of that.
Yeah, with Southampton being relegated, Ebony, Arsenal now officially the youngest team in the league. Still, the average age is under 23. And they say players hit their peak when they're 25, 26. Imagine if you win the league this year, you're not even at your peak.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about that?
Look, you know, at the end of the day, these players have experience. All right, they've got experience. All of the squad have played in the Premier League for more than 2-3 years now. They have the experience. Okay, they've got the experience to beat teams like Man City, like Liverpool, like Man United, like the other teams. So there is no excuse. The fact that the fact that that Arteta has, you know, for the last few windows, and I don't think he's finished yet, by the way. He's gone out and he's got the players that he wants. So that being said, you know, we've made some reinforcements. And especially in defense, we've got no excuse to have a lackluster defending. You know, we've got a backup goalkeeper. So, you know, if Ramsdale gets injured, we have a good enough goalkeeper. There is no excuse at all. So, yes, we might have the younger squad in the Premier League, but there is no excuse to play willy-nilly. You know, we can do it. We can do it. We've got the capability. And I want to know where Tony got his shirt from.
Yeah, listen, I just placed my order for that yesterday, man. So that's coming. My one's arriving tomorrow. So, and I'm going to the stadium to drop about 4 shirts off on the first game. So if you want one of them shirts,
what are you saying? Do you order 2? Yeah.
Hey, no, you know what? We have to talk about your top. Yeah, we have to talk about your top. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely talk about your top.
How much is it?
It's, I'll talk to you about it afterwards because I don't know whether you want it printed or not. So,
okay.
Bertram, for me, it's a lot of people have actually summed up pretty much all of my thoughts in terms of I've seen all the teams play, and I don't think that there's a team out there better than Arsenal except for City. And so for me, City is a target, and I don't think they've improved. I've actually think losing Mahrez, who comes off the bench and hurts you and wins you game, your game winner, your impact player off the bench has gone, and your captain, your inspirational leader is gone. Now they still have KDB, and we saw how we changed the game in the Community Shield against Arsenal. They still have a team that can hurt you, but I think Arsenal have improved. So I'm going out for it now. The process was 3 years to get us in the Champions League. That's over. Now we got to win something, and so this is for me. Foot down on the gas, Bertram, and we got to go for it. No more excuses.
So look, I think we have done well, really well last year, exceeded expectation. The expectations are heightened this year, given that we spent over 200 mil. I think City, if they played Foden more, because Foden's a brilliant player, as he showed against us on Sunday. And they're thinking about buying Paqueta, so that'll be interesting. The transfer window is not done for them, by the way. They haven't spent any. Their net spend is less than 20 million, I think, so far. Their net spend. So they haven't spent any money. They have money to spend, and they'll buy. But having said that, I think we're well stocked in a lot of position. I am still concerned, even though we have Timber, about Saliba and his ability to hold up and not get injured. I'm concerned about Havertz. I'm concerned about Jesus and Zinchenko because they're 2 lame horses. Zinchenko and Jesus were injured at City, and they've been injured with us for the 2 years they've been with us. They're injury prone. And as Tony's been talking about, and I've been talking about, we need a striker. Jesus, to me, can play the 8. He doesn't play wide. He can play the 8. He loves to be on the ball 24/7. He likes to hug the ball. Play him at the 8, then go hug the ball. If he wants to hug the ball, you have to play him out wide. We have a lot of wide players except for cover for Saka. And I think Nelson may come through. He's also injury prone. But my hope is that we play up to our potential. And my manager, who on Sunday decided not to go gung-ho and press all the way up the field, play smart football, play within ourselves, even though we struggled in the first 50 minutes of the game, show that he's learning to adapt. And he's the biggest deficit in us not winning the league, given his lack of ability to manage games. If he learns to manage the game like he showed on Sunday, we should win the league, even when City may threaten before the window closes. So I'm optimistic. I like our team, even though Jesus' health is very important for us to win the league, because I'm not sold on Havertz, and as you know, I'm not sold on Eddie.
All right, guys, listen, so that's it from us. Has anybody got anything else they want to say before I shut the stream down? No, that's it. Okay, so listen, thanks, guys. It was a long one today, but that's because we had to get our predictions all the way out. I will be posting the final numbers on Twitter and on the forum for all of you guys to see. Guys in the chat, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the video out on algorithms for YouTube. I really appreciate the love and support, you guys. And I will be doing a giveaway, but you guys have to start donating to the channel, and then we'll be able to take care of that, yeah? Because that's how this thing works. All right, guys, I appreciate the love, man. Peace out, everybody. Nice one, guys.
Take care, man. Peace.